finally, and hopefully not eating tilapia. That is...
All right, we can't barely hear you guys, so we will say bye to you for now. We do have mad amounts of renovations going on behind us. All right, good day today, and we'll try to get some more winners on the midday with both Joe and Sharif. Let's throw it over to these guys. Nvidia is starting to go up to the upside now again.
Oh, boom. Boom. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Options. And that's Dare walking in the background. Yeah, Ned, yes. What is going on right here is the culmination of this whole project, Studio 8, that we've been calling it, Joey. So the last piece of the puzzle, or one of the last pieces of the puzzle going on right behind us over there. More information to come on that. But Joey, we got to do this.
Let's do it.
We got to do a lot. Like PD right now. We got Ozan. Shout out to 2 New York Cents and Ratty. Al is in the house, or AI, I can't tell. Stuart, the beautiful Gaten, Will, Jaguar Nut, and Steve M. Shout out to Kirk D. and Hussein Samad. We got TJ, Morty, and Jimmy Joe Smith. Kirk D, I think I said that one already. Ian Gartner and JJ, J-Talk, 5150, and TLP. Shout out to the OG Gorev. Roman, ATX Trader. We got Joao. Who else, man? Be Free and Vern. Get it? Yeah, wow, Katina, man. Yeah, Katina, man, is getting me hyped up. John Neal, Thomas, Frank Hanley, and Brendan. Shout out to Bruvs and Austin, Tatius, Dang Productions, and Robert Jenkins joining us as well. Sam Pichet, I think I probably butchered that last name, but sorry. John Tranum. Are you the Trainium, the processor that Amazon's making? My bad. Good morning to everybody. Yeah. It's bad, Assassino, but it's all I can muster at the moment. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. All right, guys, let's see what we got going up today. It's rocking and rolling. It's Monday. We're gonna keep it calm, cool, and smooth, man. There's Joey Smooth, baby. Let's see what we got cooking up here on Amazon. Yeah, I mean, this was definitely our better trade of the session. Long right just above the volume weighted average price. We piece it up all the way up to the top there, and then we get stopped at our last little about 10-15%. So we're not upset about that at all. And then also we traded some Tesla. Right, so we Katina Man's long some Tesla. I want to get in here again. We'll wait for it to come back into the middle of the range. We'll go 1 for 1 on this one. Boom. We'll go triple the size. Before we go over to Adara, let's see what you
just before we go to Adara, guys, BQ, this is the #1 gapper right now in all of the market. It's on the Amex. It's going to halt up $11.13. It's up 280%. Go ahead, Adara.
I have 2 separate stories here, one on Nvidia, one on Apple. We'll start with Apple. Reportedly, according to Mac rumors, the Samsung Display president Lee Chong has confirmed that the company has plans to produce a foldable OLED screen for a major North American client that is assumed to be Apple. So Apple's foldable products seem to be, I guess, continuing in their trajectory here. Samsung reportedly hinting that this could be the client they're making this tablet for, or at least that they're making a tablet for an American client. Now, Nvidia, going to be on watch here as well. NVDA reportedly hastening its robotics research and development with new open models and simulation libraries. So R&D for robotics and simulation libraries there for NVDA. Back to you.
Just before you continue, thank you, Adair. BQ, guys, we are halted to the upside. This is an Amex stock, AMEX, Amex. And so as a result of that, we're not going to be able to see the theoretical auction price at the top all while we're halted. So we're going to have to fly blind. That is one of my pet peeves about trading these small cap gappers on the MX is you really have no idea of what the imbalance looks like during the halted period. And if we get a 10, 15 minute halt, then you really start sweating because you have no idea what to expect. So that has to factor into your decision making of whether or not to trade this, and if you're going to, what kind of size and risk parameters you want to employ. All right, it's a great looking one. Underline that for now. Joey, what do I always say, man? They're around for a good time, not a long time, and the ones on the MX network have much less, I should say, trust from my perspective than the ones on the end.
Yeah. Never mind those Amex boys, man. Get them out of here. No seriousness. It's a good time, man. Went out for a nice long walk yesterday. It was a gorgeous day here in the city. So yeah, we just wanted to try to take advantage.
It's been crazy.
It's been really nice,
crazy.
Man.
I know you don't like it though, because it's not 500% humidity, but we're gonna
no,
have
it's
to
good.
take
The sun was nice. You know what I mean? To get a little bit of the sun on the face. But yeah, aside from that, guys, we took 2 attempts here on Tesla. 2 attempts, yes, no, 2. Here on Tesla, we got stopped out on the first one, and then we just hop right back in and we take it off. We did get stopped out about 40% there. Now we're starting to enter this kind of consolidation. Let's see what happens next. The longer that it takes to break, the more prone I think it might be to a potential breakdown. So let's just keep that in mind. Other than that, these are the 2 names that I've been trading on the day. Snapchat has been looking phenomenal. We got a hammer candle right at VWAP on Amazon. So I might get involved in this here. Maybe even buy. I want to buy a contract because Chase the Pax was talking about this last week, and I mentioned it as well too, considering we had these 4 or 5 aggressive days of just continuous selling, and then all the way down to 217, and you're getting a little bit of a pop right now, and I like this indecision print right there for a couple point move higher. I'm not saying I'm going to be holding the contracts or anything along those lines till it hits that new all-time high. Just a little pop, couple points here and there, and then you just hop out of Dodge and look for something else new. But Snapchat is moving pretty strong today. Katina Man brought us that one a while ago, and there it goes, continuing its strength. So patience. I'm going to wait to hop in maybe some Amazon and some TSLL, Sharif.
All right, man. New position. We're in ENTA. Showing a really good looking chart pattern on the 5. Very good respect. This is the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. Those are all the good things about it. What don't I like? Clearly the spread. Okay, we just got the first print there at 75. We're long 69. Now I'm waiting at 82, showing me 79s now on the level 2. We're showing me 81. We're waiting at 82. Let's go ahead and wait at 88 as well. Let's see if we can kind of move up. The spread still about 3 or 4 pennies. I've seen it as wide as 7. I'm talking about ENTA up 23.8%. It's not the biggest mover. And there we go. The second print. There's almost the third print showing me 90s now on the ask side. Give me that third print, baby. We're waiting at 88s, and there it is, Joey Options. So we'll take a nice little move up to start the show. Now we're going to wait at 98s just for that, quick $10 tap. Maybe it rejects $10, so I want to get it in a little bit, or wet the beak, excuse me, a little bit before that. Shout out to the weird-looking parrot there that's eating out of the garbage for some reason. But it's okay, everything's fine, Joe.
Oh, that one there. That one there.
YCBD as well. It's not just the BQ show. This one up 150%, but it suffers from the same afflicting BQ, which is it's trading on the Amex network. Again, I hate to disparage an entire network or gateway, but I've seen this story before where the ones that are trading on the AM, there's more bamboozlement. In addition, as I mentioned before, we went to Adara for the news break. You can't see the top, the theoretical auction price on these, so you have to fly blind while we're halted. It's up very respectable amount, 155%, but BQ is now open again, and here we go again. It's a 1232 high. I'm going to probably be corrected in 1 second as it prints another high. It's a 1305 high now. It's up 325%. It's going for more. It seems hungry. 1306 high day, Joey Options. This one's on that good stuff that you're not supposed to take on a Monday.
Oh.
You're supposed to wait for the weekend for that kind of thing. Sorry, bro. No, seriously though. BQ is going crazy, all right? But it's spready, it's wild. Trade it carefully, please. Joey.
Yes, absolutely. Only take it on the weekend. Don't be doing that stuff during. Don't be doing the lettuce on the weekday.
Oh boy.
All right.
Oh boy. Don't be doing the lettuce. This ain't lettuce, bro. This ain't lettuce. It'd be the other way.
It's the harder stuff. All right. Don't be doing the harder stuff.
Saying out here right now. Oh boy, bro.
No, seriously. No, guys. Let's take a look at some of the top performing sectors here on the session and see what we got going on. Oh yeah. You say, oh no, yeah. All right, guys. We got some. Yeah.
wild, bro.
What's that?
The comments in the chat are wild.
What are they saying there? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Okay, Mike P, come on, bro.
Yeah, I love it. It's like,
All right, yeah. The technology
boy.
sector, guys, up about 0.9%. Then we have the communications sitting in second place. Yes, 0.7. Industrials up about 0.5%. Now the bottom three, consumer staples. Yeah, we're not getting defensive today. Risk on, guys, as you can see. Consumer staples slightly red, just under 0.1%. Then we got the utilities down about 0.4, and then the energy sector almost down a whopping 2%, 1.9. That is insane. We don't need that defense. Get out of here, energy sector. We want to buy the tech stocks, and that's what we got going on today. I want to see what the TQs are up to here. Go up right at the volume weighted average price. If we get this 5-minute hammer to close exactly how it's currently printing, then guess what? We're going to take a long on it and look for a potential bounce across the board in some of these tech names. I believe Tesla is going to break down. Keep an eye out on Tesla. Why? Because we've had multiple attempts on the breakup and it hasn't happened. Opening drive, strong. After the opening drive, not strong. So very simplistic stuff, obviously being sarcastic, but you can see it sold off here, guys. You get that move up into 21.65 and then you establish the new low of the day about a half an hour later, and that's going to put you right at $20.80. Now, from that point, we've never had any definitive signals that say, hey, we're ready to bounce. But one thing to note is that we're forming these consistent lower highs, and watch out for the support level to be breached. And if it is and the volume really starts to pick up, watch out for some more continuation to the downside. All right, guys? And there it goes. Gaurav, the Q's signal is gone. It's done. It's already closed as it's not closing. It's starting to pick up momentum to the signal. Not too good of a look here. Patience, patience, patience. Let's see if we can find something in a couple minutes here, Sharif.
All right, Joey. Keeping my eye on YCBD. I just got into this one accidentally. I was actually putting a breakout trade for 171, so I just flattened out super quick on that one, break even. YCBD, I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm looking for the first 5-minute candle to make a new high, and now we've got it. So by the way, BQ is halted down at 969. Sorry, I probably should have mentioned that. YCBD, but you know how this works, right? There's two going, and the degens, they can't not trade, right? Like their hands start shaking. Oh. So BQ's halted. They got to punch into something, right? Yeah. You know, you start getting the jitters and the shivers. So I'm exaggerating for effect, obviously, but you typically move from one stock to the other once one is halted, especially if the pair are moving. I don't want to say in tandem, but both are strong on the day. Anyway, this one is definitely strong, so I'm keeping an eye on this one. 170 seems to be a really, really staunchy resistance level, and that takes us all the way back to that candle at 1050 that has its topping tail into 170. We haven't been above that level since that candle. So I'm continuing to watch here as this price action develops on YCBD. I don't want to get into that critical area of resistance only to have it reject. If it wants to clear 170 by some distance, we can have a conversation. By definition, that means I'll get in at a worse price, which I'm okay with. So yeah, that's my thinking about that. My two little feet, I personally feel attacked by that comment. I'm one of those people, brother, so I'm kind of attacking myself there, right? Like, I trade these and only these every day, and you guys know that, right? So we're going to take shots at ourselves.
Yeah, brother, I've been grinding Blue Ocean, man. It's like,
you've been grinding Blue Ocean?
Yeah, you guys, you got to chill,
bro.
man. Yeah, till 10 every day.
Yeah. So how's it been?
It's all right.
It's been good.
I mean, it's grinding. Like, you know
exactly what I'm getting after that. But DJ, love this guy. All right. We're taking Prince to the high side here on ENT8, 995 high. We're at that level right now. I've got a profit taker, guys, into 98. We do apologize for the noise, but you guys know that we're doing Studio 8, and this behind me right now, as yes, that handsome gentleman Rob walks around with one of the pieces. This is one of the final pieces in the entire thing. I don't want to say the final piece, but one of the biggest, certainly, in the entire renovation, and we could not be more pleased, obviously, that it's going up, not because there's a lot of noise, but because we're part of this project, and I personally feel, I feel very excited about this whole thing growing, and I hope you guys, are not too annoyed by the whole thing, and you're kind of understand how this whole thing works. Take us to your shisha lounge. Soon, Ozan, soon. We punch into this position over here, and we get a nice little mover. We'll be buying a shisha lounge, my man. And you'll have free access anytime you want. Shout out to the Ozan Chile. We're going to Adair. Adair.
Oh yeah, just be aware here of the market. This is less like specifically stock moving, but more it's going to be on watch for Friday. So I'm seeing here, apparently the BLS, or the Bureau of Labor Statistics, is preparing a shutdown contingency plan. We know the U.S. government could potentially face a shutdown. So apparently in that case, they would be suspending all operations and they would be planning not to release economic data during a shutdown. Now that is significant because on Friday, we're expected to get these non-farm payrolls, which come from the BLS. So just be aware here, BLS, their shutdown contingency plan would include not releasing economic data during a government shutdown, which again, could happen. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adair. Joey, just before we send it to you, ENTA breakout. Boom into 1032. We're long 969. We just wet the beak there at 1015. We're going to hold the piece. The spread went crazy once this thing broke 10. I saw it 1030 something on the ask, and then 10 single digits like 1009, 1010, or 1007, something like that. Look at that. It's 12 pennies. It's gotten super wide since it's broken 10. We're still holding. We're looking for more here on my friend ENTA. Certainly not the biggest mover on the day. That belongs to YCBD and BQ, but we're going to continue to punch in here on ENTA. Shout out to my man Ozan. He says ENTA will halt up. I'd be pleased about that, Ozan. I'll hold it into the halt. So we're going to continue to watch here, Joey, as we get back into that $0.25. ENTA, the one I'm talking about.
All right, beautiful stuff. Love hearing it. Yeah, Byron Hart. Pretty soon, brother. Pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, hold those horses and get ready for some action-packed fun. Even more to come with the Trader TV live gang. All right, Q's is dumping. Yes, it is, Gorev. But I'm starting to like how these prints are forming, right? If we can get a couple hammers across the board here, then bang, maybe we go for a long. You can see something. I don't love this signal right there at NVDA on NVDA. Not enough of a wick. And then there we go. There is our signal on Amazon breaking down, Gorf. So we're fortunate enough to get out of that one. And this is what I was mentioning a little bit earlier there on Tesla. Consistent lower highs. Boom. Now you're heading towards some key support levels. So I'm happy that we took that move up into VWAP and got some out. But one thing that I'm going to be keeping an eye on is that if these start to close like this, patience, patience, patience. We're going to wait for that pullback, and then we're going to look to pounce like a tiger. Damn. And, oh, no, see, the selling pressure stepping right back in here, Sharif. Oh. So not too good of a look. As long as the crypto space is holding up, I'm going to be happy and Gucci with that one. Good to see it getting a little bit of a bounce over the weekend. Back up to 112. I think it touched 113 today. And then we had Ethereum up to 4,200 once again. So shout out to Tom Lee. Tom Lee said bounce at 4,200. It did go down to 38, 39. So let's see if that can come more into play. But the selling is starting to get a little bit more aggressive here, folks. Buyers stepping in, pushing in it. You see this, the buying pressure step in on some of these 5-minute candles, but immediately met by some defense and putting pressure on the price to head back south. So with that being said, let's take a look at our options chain and see what we got going on with the Nasdaq 100 over there, the Qs, guys. As soon as we get this up, we're going to take a look. 0 DTEs is what we want to find out. Where is the concentration at?
Where's it at?
601, 127,000 contracts already traded. And then at 602, 168,000 contracts currently traded. Open interest, nothing substantial, but there's a lot of volume coming in at those two strike prices there, Sharif.
I like it, Joey. AREC, the OG Bovin saying, taking a look, Bovin, at REC. This is another one Bovin was calling out. Before we go to that one, HOVR into high day, a little bit lighter on volume. This is another Bovin call out over here, $112 million market cap. But let's take a gander at AREC. Yeah, another good one. Bovin, I like this one. 320 flat top break potential. I realize we've been above 320 on the day a few times. Case in point, one, twice. OB, he is the one thrice into 325. But look at that. Nary a closing print. above 320. That's got to mean something to me here. So they're clearly a seller of note at 320. It's not up big, Bovin. It is up 15%. It's a $270 million market cap with about a 66 million share float. Here's 320 right now. Ideally, you pick this up in the 3 mid-teens for that possible 320 break and continuation. This is AREC. Let's keep an eye out on this one. But for now, we're going back to Adira.
Yeah, President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, they have met up. They're now disappearing into the White House. Now, their schedule today is usually we'll get like a public bilateral meeting. It looks like their bilateral meeting is set to be behind closed doors, but that's because these two will be holding a press conference at 1:15 p.m. If we do end up getting footage of that meeting, which is again set to start around 11:30, I'll let you guys know, but it seems like we're next set to expect these two at 1:15 p.m. and we'll be covering that press conference. And back to you.
You.
All right.
Widely speculated online, too, that we could see some continuation in the Middle Eastern belligerencies. So not saying that's why he's coming over to talk, but widely speculated that we could get some more stuff in the next few weeks.
Yeah, you take that alternative route there.
Yeah. He says it wasn't for any.
Didn't know it, yeah.
But we know that a lot of countries they're not vibing with.
And a lot of them walked out as well too, which was unfortunate.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All speculation still it happens.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. That's a subject that we are not going to get into depth with. But what do we got? TQs, signal, SPY, signal, Tesla, 1 minute signal. So let's see if we can get a bounce. We have a tight stop, 10 cents. 10 cents. Not the Chinese company, but that is our risk measures right there. And we're starting to get a little bit of a pop in Tesla. So yeah, let's go. Let's see if we can head right back to the top end of this range. So it was once support. We're going to look to act as resistance. And with that being said, we take some off at that point. 33% to be exactly is what I have for that game plan. And if we decide to break through and continue, then guess what? We have 66% left as a runner. So that's what I got there, Gorv. Look at here, let's break this down on the 1 minute. Boom, this is a really good signal, so we had to get involved in this. You punch through support, you head towards some key, the next level of support right there, and then look, boom, you have that indecision print with that isolated volume signature, one of the largest in the past, let's say, over an hour there, guys. Hour and a half, getting a nice little pop in Tesla. Sharif, that's what we got going on.
All right, Joey, been watching BQ, trying to find support off the 10 EMA, and it has. And these two 5-minute candles, I'm talking about the ones at 11:15 and 11:20, each of them has a higher low and a higher high. Relative to the prior red candle at 11:12, and obviously relative to each other, the subsequent candle. I'm talking about the 11:20 candle relative to the 15 candle. But both of them have rejected at or below $11. Now, $11 had not been an area that I earmarked for resistance, but one that is clearly showing up. Obviously, the whole dollar is a psychological area of resistance. So I'm debating here what my next move should be on BQ. I have multiple options. One, I can enter here with a bias that the trend continues to the upside, and the percentage up on the day supports at 242%, and I can place my stop at prior bar low. Or if my bias is there's a 11 seller, and that's the spot I want to target, then I can wait for a breakout trade. Right? And I can wait for that 11 clearing. Now, obviously, that presents some good and some bad. One, if I'm right about the $11 area being a key area of technical resistance, and I get in at the right price, right? I get in above 11, and everything is hunky-dory. But if I'm wrong about that, well, then I take a breakout trade, and it's a bull trap, and I'm in at a ridiculously high price, not from the 9.5 where we're trading at right now, or 9 where the 10 EMA is, but literally at the high, maybe even a little bit higher. So I just don't have the right plan on BQ at the moment. I can't read it the right way. So if that's the case, then I steer clear. Now, having said that, YCBD has now taken out 170. That's important because we haven't really been able to close above 170. Now, we haven't closed at this candle either. right? This candle opened up 11:20. I think there's about another minute left, 30 seconds left, excuse me, until this candle closes. So YCBD, if it closes above 170, I think it could see 188 again. And 188 is the high day. Alas, it's below 170 again as we get close to closing this 5-minute candle. Let's see how this all works out. I'm packing my patience. I don't want to execute on these high flyers at the wrong level. I think they're going to give you opportunities about really try number one to master to be able to see when the opportunities are right. Number two, but waiting and being patient for the right level. So continuing to watch here. Here we go right back above 170. We closed below it, by the way. The closing print on this candle, 169.5. So literally did close, I don't know, 0.05 below the 170 level. So Joey options, I don't know how to execute on this one either, okay? It's not clearing the level. It's putting in higher lows and higher highs, which I'm alive to, but we're a little bit high right now for me to play that higher low, higher high. That had to be more around the mid 150s. Here we go, though. I think we might make another candle and make a new high. So the prior candle's high is 173. We are at 173, and there's the new high. This one is breaking out, so we're going to take the breakout trade over here, and come what may. We have to. I mean, like, it took out the levels that I kept talking about. So if I don't get in here, then what am I doing? So that's what I'm doing, Joey. What do you got, my man?
Nice. Good look there, brother. Good look. Yeah, so we're long. So we're long some Tesla. Let's see if we can get that break here to continue. We pieced off a little bit. This is what I was talking about earlier, right? It's like, okay, we see the signal at the lows. Where's that next target level? What is that specific resistance zone or support level that you're going to be aiming for? And I mentioned this shelf right here and that consolidation. We ran into that. Boom, you take 30% off and you leave the rest for a runner. We head into the middle of the range. Guess what we're doing?
What?
We're taking another 30% off. And then we run into VWAP. Guess what?
What?
We're taking another 10% off up there. So the game plan is planning, right? That's it, right? So the game plan is game planning, and that's what we want to do. Yeah, no, in all seriousness, not too bad of a look, guys. And this is what I'm talking about earlier, right? So when we're looking for our VPA signals, and Gore have just been absolutely smashing it, is that when we fill the majority of that wick, the probability of the downside continuation is there, all right? It's unfortunate that we didn't take care. I'm just not trading this crypto space right now because I'm in it personally, and I was like thinking to myself on my long walk yesterday was, okay, stop holding your bias to the crypto space because you're in it. Just do what the technicals is. Obviously, we do that as well, but there's a nice short signal. And then once you crack it, you essentially don't even fill the majority of this wick. You get 30, 40%, and then you continue that downside movement. Now, as for this name, let's see if we can break through, head into the middle of the range, and take some off. But the market is aggressively moving back to the downside. There's a beautiful indecision print on NVDA, but now that is gone. See you later. So it's not as effective. Once you've already filled in the majority of this wick, look at it as more potential continuation to the downside, and that's exactly what we're experiencing on the Qs and here on NVDA. Now, as for the SPY, take a look at the SPY. SPY's holding up significantly better, right? But watch out, if it decides to head a little bit more south and start cracking these wicks, be cautious of more potential downside. Yes, you guessed it correctly. With that being said, what has XLF been up to today, Sharif? Because if we're looking at the SPY, my friend, you got to take a look at XLF. Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy going on over here, but consistent higher lows. We like that, right? Trend line still fully intact. You haven't breached it just yet. We have multiple data points that we can go off of. Maybe look for this space to continue with its somewhat strength there.
All right, Neil, wolf.ny is insane. Let's look, because I was looking at this one earlier, Neil, and it was halted or something. I wasn't able to pick it up. Yeah, like it's not loading it up on the chart. Something's going on. So we're gonna. I don't know why on my platform, not P8, just my platform. I have more to say about what's going on right now, but I just want to check this out. Wolf.ny. Thank you, Neil. I don't know why it's not pulling it up on my platform. This thing's up 1,200%. What the hell is happening here? Okay, well, just 1 second, Assassino and Adair, because this is all sorts of insane. Guys, Wolf, WOLF on the New York is up 1,250%. And it was not showing up on any of my scanners, and it wasn't loading up on my side chart either. So I don't know what you as well?
Delisted.
It's getting delisted. Oh, this is insane. Thank you, Neil. Neil sent me the story, so give me 1 second over here. Here it is, guys. NYSE to delist Wolfspeed, old common stock effective October 10th, following company's emergence from Chapter 11 and reincorporation in Delaware. Trading suspended as of the 29th, with shareholders to receive substituted new common stock under a reorganization plan. Thank you, Neil. One last thing before we go. I'm involved in YCBD as a halt up. I've taken a couple of scalps showing me 183. We know the tap. We won't be able to see the tap on this one because it is an Amex stock. And then ENTA, we're out. We're literally out at the high of the day. 1045 was my out, and that is the high of the day. So we're done this one. We're going to keep an eye now on YCBD. Adara's got crypto.
Yeah, I want to talk here about this individual, Christopher Waller, who is a Fed member. He's also one of the many people in talks here to potentially be in consideration to be the next Fed chair. But the reason I bring him up actually does have to do with crypto. This morning, he was speaking at this Silos conference, and he made some comments supporting stablecoin. He said that these stablecoins do have the potential to improve efficiency in payments, but he did say that regulation should be, quote unquote, right-sized to make sure that these stablecoins are indeed stable and that they also provide safety for people using them. But he said, in quotes, I'm just going to quote him here, if stablecoins present a lower cost alternative to consumers and businesses, I'm all for it. Stablecoins are simply another choice available to consumers and businesses. And he also said that they should be able to coexist with cash, bank deposits, and other forms of money. Again, making sure that they're safe and transparent and they're properly regulated. So Christopher Waller, you're signing off on stablecoins. Nice look there for a Fed member to, I guess, support these alternative methods here in this crypto. Here's BTC. BTC actually had a two-day winning streak. We'll take a look at Ethereum as well. Ethereum trying to bounce. These ones did all drop along with the market there on Thursday. They're trying to find support from there. Ethereum coming back into a previous level of support resistance that was pretty interesting. That 4,200 level, let's see how it fares once it gets back up there. Right now we're trading around 4,170 for ETH. Back to you.
Good stuff there. Thank you very much, Adara. Yes, not too bad of a look in the crypto space. Over the weekend, we like seeing that. We were talking about it not too long ago. Bitcoin tapped into 113,000, 4,200 for Ethereum. We'll take that all day. Hopefully that can continue, and it's just not a pullback into the prior support levels that Adair once mentioned that can possibly act as resistance. So keep your eye out on that one specifically there, guys. As for our Tesla trade, we took the 33% off, got stopped out the remaining as it came back towards our break even. And that's fine. We had the game plan. It didn't work out. In simple scenarios, it either breaks through that support level or resistance level, heads to that next specific target that we were looking for. We take some more off, but nope, that wasn't the case. It comes back, comes into our initial entry, and then we get out of Dodge. So for me personally, right now, with the aggressive selling that we're starting to see in the Nasdaq and the SPY, it's patience. Wait for those indecision prints to come on the 5-minute and even the lower time frames, such as the 1, the 3, and the 2-minute, and then we'll look for potential balance plays off of that. But if the market wants to continuously bleed all day, it's not going to be fun trying to sit in front of a standing knife. So what can we do to try to avoid those things? Well, we can put a couple pieces of probability within our favor. It's going to be the indecision print that we're looking for. It's going to be the volume supporting it. So if we have a high level of volume, substantially larger than some of the other prints, then we're good. And then we can also take a look at the options chain to see if there's any form of a put wall or call walls that might be standing in our way. And with that being said, lots of probability in our favor. We like it. Let's see if we can find a potential solid setup, Shri.
Sounds good, Joey. Good on you.
Thank you.
YCBD, guys, 194 high. So here's what happened. We got out of the halt. We were opening down, so I flattened out for a couple of penny loss. We were in right here. We ended up getting out at 72. So we're in at 77s, got out 72 for the last remaining amount, but it showed me strength. So I punched back in at 85 and we scalped up into 94s. I'm done this trade though. It's a candle of indecision forming right now on the 5, but it does have support. The bottom wick of this current 5-minute candle finding support at that 160 area, and that 160 area, lo and behold, is the 10 EMA on the 5. So it's continuing to ride that support level. However, it made a newer low versus the prior 5-minute candle. So the prior 5-minute candle closed out at around 167. This has obviously a 160 low, but it's still continuing to show you indecision at around the 1 3/4. So I don't know how this cookie crumbles. If it ends up showing me more strength, I'll get back in, especially if it can hold above that 10 EMA. Really, that's what I'm looking at here. It seems to have support right now at the 10 EMA. So that's what I'm looking at. Otherwise, let's bring in the side chart, because I've said very little about what else I'm looking at on said side chart. So HOVR was that as a late addition that Bovin told me about, which I didn't have eyes on. We'll obviously have to keep an eye on Wolf Speed. Just give me a second here. Wolf Speed is halted to the upside again. It's halted at 1720. We're going to keep an eye out on that, but I'm going to need a different chart because mine are not showing it. ENTA is the one that I want to get back into. So we got back at the high. We got out at the high of the day. It's at 1045 right now. It has a pre-market high of around 1085. It opened up there as a result of the strength that it had Friday afternoon. Right at 4 o'clock, this thing popped up and ended up closing, substantially higher than where at 8 o'clock. So it was up about, 16.5% in the aftermarket relative to where it closed out at 4 o'clock. It popped up nicely into 1083, I believe, 1085, and then sold off all the way down to 525. So that was a hell of a move down from that 4 a.m. spike to the 6 a.m. trough. That's a 50% loss off that level. Since that 6:30 a.m. drop, we're up almost 92% off that area low. So ENTA has been everywhere and then some. Up 31%. It'll be certainly one that I continue to keep my eye on. We'll go over more of these as soon as we're back from Madeira.
Keep an eye on GLD here, or gold in general. We're seeing reports that Switzerland has offered Donald Trump a gold-related deal to help get lower tariffs. Their plan here is to invest in the U.S. gold refining industry in exchange for a tariff reduction. So again, keep an eye on gold. Try to do a little bit of quid pro quo here. It's Switzerland with the Trump administration saying, hey, we'll invest in your gold refining here in the U.S. if you drop our tariffs. Back to you.
So Switzerland figured Donald likes gold. President Donald Trump likes gold. Have you seen what he's done to the Oval Office?
Is it all gold?
Adara, have you seen? Adara, there's gold everywhere, Adara.
Why was it a video? He's
Why does it
all the gold?
It looks like Little Mar-a-Lago. Little Mar-a-Lago, I don't get it. He likes gold. They clearly know he likes gold, right? So they're getting him in the way.
Didn't our good buddy Timmy C bring him a nice gold flag as well?
It's ubiquitous that everybody knows.
That he likes gold.
Anybody who's seen this guy's New York apartment before they ever saw Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
I saw this back when he was running initially back in, I believe, early 15, late 16. Okay, whatever it was, those years. Okay. And they were showing his New York, his Manhattan apartment.
It's like gold.
Dude, it looks like the Kremlin.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's like over the top design. Like he likes that. Clearly, that's his motif.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I respect that. I have no problem with it.
I'm a rustic, modern guy.
He loves gold, Joe. Yeah. People don't like it in the chat.
Man. There it goes, guys. Sorry to interrupt you there, my friend. But there it is, right? Like check this one out right there. Boom, another hammer candle. But this time, this volume print is larger than anything that we've seen since 9:55. You got to take that. So I'm going to be looking at what the Nasdaq is up to over here. We got the 1 minute time frames displaying, and then we got the SPY on the 1 minute. This ship has sailed. That was the one. That was the one. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. I'm getting excited. Yeah. Let's see what we got going on. Yeah. As for like the pure degeneracy Shreve's been talking about lately. man, I was like, just as I told you guys, I went on a walk yesterday. Saturday night, I was itching to just put some money up, and I was gonna bet some UFC, and thank God that I didn't, because
I didn't even know there was a card on.
Yeah, it was a fight night. It was a fight night, right? So, anyways, I'm like, all right, yeah, let's see if we can put a couple $100 on the main event. I did a little data digging too, as well too. So I'm like, ChatGPT, out of the last 50 UFC main events, how many of the main events went over the second round?
Yeah.
And 30 out of the 50 fights went into the third round. So I'm like, all right, yeah. So I'm like, okay, here, let's see.
Data.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I mean? We're starting to collect a little bit here. And then I'm like, okay, do I just go heavy on the main event? And thank God that I didn't, because Buddy got knocked out in the first 2 minutes, and I would have been so mad at myself. So I was just thinking, like, would I be more happy if I won the money or if I lost it? And it was the latter half. So that's why we didn't take it. I would not have been happy with myself.
Anybody I know?
Probably not. No, there's a couple good. I mean, an old heavyweight guy, light heavyweight guy. He was probably the best fight against John Jones. His name's Dominic Reyes, but he was been on a rough streak.
Rings a bell.
Yeah, he's been on a rough streak. Yeah, he's lost the chin and stuff like that. So that's never a good sign. Other than that, nothing substantial. Next week is going to be big time.
Big?
Yeah, Alex Pereira.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's not fight night.
Yeah,
then,
exactly.
Eh?
No, that's a card, brother.
That's a card.
That's a card.
Oh, there's a difference between fight night and
a card. Yeah. Fight night's
not pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's what we got going on. Looking forward to that one. Let me know who you guys have in the chat, either Alex Pereira or Magomedov. And then let's see, SPY starting to come back in here, guys, back towards these markets. CoreWeave, someone mentioned this. We did have an indecision print right below the volume weighted average price, but that's starting to get blown past as well too. So I think we got to be a little bit more patient here, guys. 5-minute time frames on the SPY and on the Nasdaq. We like this potential signal right there. As long as we continuously hold the majority of this wick, then I think we're going to be okay for a potential long, maybe even a move back towards VWAP.
Yeah, your friend Willis Addison in the chat, if you bet on Canelo over Crawford, yikes. Yeah, both you and I had.
We had Bud
Crawford
from day one, as soon as it was announced. As soon as it was announced.
For me.
As soon as it was announced.
I don't see anybody who's got the same type of skill in boxing right now that Bud has. And we've seen this a lot with great fighters, right?
Yeah.
Where the first 3 rounds are sort of indecision rounds where the great fighter is absorbing your style and kind of
after that
drawing up a game plan in the head, and then it's just all downhill for the other fighter after that.
Exactly.
Even Mayweather was like that too. You could see the first 2, 3, 4 maybe
give up.
rounds.
They
were indeterminate.
It's just pure just registering what you're gonna do, see your feints and everything along those lines.
Exactly.
And it's like pap.
And
after that.
once Bud gave him that little smirk at the end of round 4,
yeah, he was over. Yeah, man,
Yes.
man,
Yes, I'll
man.
never
What
forget that fight.
it was a great fight, man.
But
it was
so sick.
Yeah, it was
Joey,
good. Let's go.
we're doing it live on your friend Hover over here, HOVR. Shout out to the OG Bovin. This is another Bovin special. We gotta start. We gotta start. Putting out the daily Bovin special.
Yeah.
You
need the watch list
down
that guy there.
over the road. There's this really nice shawarma spot. They got the daily special. We got to do a little Bovin special over here. So Bovin, this is at the day's high right now. We're talking about $2.89. Your boy's long 283. We're gonna take profits here at 93 next level. I'm obviously looking for a move into $3 given how close we are. Let's get to that 90 penny level first, break through that, then we can have a discussion about possibly 3 over here. So I'm keeping my eye out on that one. We're at the day high right now on HOVR. It's not a big mover. It's only up 16%, having done a little bit less than 2 million shares on the day, 1.89. We'll see if this one can get going. The spread at times has been up to 3 pennies. Currently it is 1, so it's looking okay. I want to keep mentioning, obviously, Wolf Speed. I don't mind getting into this if it sets up in the right way. I'll probably, need to punch and pray because let's just be honest about this one. Who the hell is going to be able to call a top on this one? Certainly not me. We'll continue to watch and we'll report on it to you if it keeps going over here. But there goes Hover through that 90 penny area. I'm going to take profits here, move up my profit taker a little bit more into 96s. This one's going well, 292 high. It's showing me 92s as we speak. Bovin is also saying AREC. Another one that we brought you earlier, another Bovin special, AREC, moving up into 333. Great move there, Bovin, because we were talking about 320 flat top break, and this one gave you plenty after that 320, 333 high, currently showing 31s, so good strength here from AREC. It's really about who we're going to take off the side chart here, and ZURA is below VWAP, and it may or may not recover. We're not going to try to guess if it does, so we're going to replace it with AREC, and that one earned its spot onto the coveted side charts over here. So that's what we're looking at. Let's just flip back quickly, take a gander at the other friend of ours over here, which Wolf. Wolf is open, and it's going buck wild. 1,630% as it gets close to $21. It was a huge seller at $20.90. Now, one way to be able to spot the sellers on this, because it spends such little time in any one area on the level 2, use a smaller time frame. I'm talking about that 5-second, that 10-second, whatever other option your platform allows you. That's a smaller time frame. And what you do with there is you gauge where it keeps finding support or resistance, because I certainly won't be able to remember it here on the level 2, given that it barely spends any time, so you're not really able to absorb the information and store it in the way that I know how to process anyway. So Wolf Speed, it's got a $21 high, zigging and zagging right now in the low 20s, a little high 19s, a little low 20s, but this one can be above 21 and faster than you can say hover. So be on the lookout here. Use the appropriate orders. I mean, if they're going to be resting orders or whatever your platform allows. But yeah, be very careful with this one, Joey. It seems to be finding some support here at 18 generally. 18 seems to be a bottom, but that could change any minute. We've opened up a new 1-minute candle. Let's see if this one holds up at 18 as well. Both the previous 1-minute candles have been topping tail candles. This one looks like it's going to find some support at 18 here on WOLF. Still zigging and zagging at about 1,500% in Greensville. South of 21, Joey. We're keeping tabs on this.
All right, good stuff there, guys. Yeah, all right, let's take a look at Robinhood. You know, Katina Man was talking about this earlier in the morning. Yeah, man, well, what a monster day this name has been putting in. I trimmed some 50% to be exact at 122. So somewhere around this neck of the woods, right? And I'm still sitting on half the position, so we're not going to complain about that, right? It's always going to climb. Well, I shouldn't say it's always going to climb higher, but you're always going to be like, I wish I could have done something a little bit different. But with this one, no, we're happy. Still sitting on 50%, rotated half of it out, sitting on about the majority of it still cash, and then bought a little more ETHA, which for some people might be a questionable move, but hey, I like the rotation. I like what we've received from a percentage return. Like I'm up 160, almost 170% in the name since we bought it. So let's rotate, let's buy some more. And then, yeah, we'll figure that one out. If we do get somewhat of an aggressive pullback, anything under 100, whatever cash I have, I'll just buy some more at $100, sold it at 120, right? So that's a big time difference. Buying it back at a significantly lower price, 20%. To be exact. So yeah, that's what we got going on, guys. We're still sitting in this TQs trade. Why did I decide to hop in on this one? Well, we talked about the indecision prints on the 1-minute and on the 5-minute, and then wick, right? This is what we were talking about. We want to really start to pay attention as to how these wicks are being held. It didn't fill the majority of it, right? We held around that 50% level. There's some key support levels that are coming in, obviously, in correlation with that. So why not, right? You have that base on the 1-minute time frame holding. We take it at the top end of the range. Ideally, not the best entry. You want to try to get it at the lower end opposed to the top end. But if it continues to hold, then I think we're going to be sitting pretty good. STU. I know what you mean. Okay, let's take a look at that one. Boom. I don't know if that was a talk or you're missing a letter on something specifically in what you were trying to tell me. But
straight to jail.
Yeah. Well, hey, man.
Straight to jail.
Never mind, Gamma AR. I'm obviously joking around with you, but I'm sorry you feel that way. But yeah, that's what I got going on right now, Sharif. TQs. Bang. Let's see if we can get that pop. We went 2 for 3 on Tesla, 1 for 1 on the Amazonian one. So now, let's see if we can get this Nasdaq trade to go back to the volume weighted average price. Come on, print up the money storm. What's Mike P saying? But yeah, no, we're not there just yet. As it's starting to pull back here aggressively, we might get stopped out of this one by the looks of it.
Inspirational Sunday, bro. You're killing me over here, bro. You're killing me. All right, the ban on talking about Micron has been lifted, all right? You want to believe there was a ban? Brother, I don't trade these names, okay? I just don't. I don't look at the mega cap names, mid cap names, big cap names, mega cap names. I just don't look at them anymore. So I'm going to do this for you, brother. So Micron obviously has got a great little tailwind. We know that it's the best performing semiconductor name on the year. It is up 94.5% year to date. But that's not, and it also had a decent earnings report. They sold off after the earnings report. But I'll submit to you, this has more to do with the headline that we got on Friday about imported semiconductors likely to face tariffs unless they're one-off. Meaning that if you're a company, for example, like Apple, that brings in semiconductors from abroad, if you don't buy or manufacture the equal number of semiconductors domestically, you're going to get slapped. So who wins and who loses, as we spoke about on Friday? Some of the winners from this tariff deal: Micron, Global Foundries, some others. I can go back to my notes. Micron having another good day. It had a good day on Friday. It's having a good day today. This was, well, Friday was a little indeterminate. It was zigging and zagging, but having a good day today, right back into that 165.80 area. It's losing VWAP right now. You know, I wouldn't be buying it off here. I would have been looking for VWAP. A bit of a possible double top, I want to say there, brother. Maybe at around high 165, 165.75, give or take. It's one crest, two crest, neckline at around 164. You lose the neckline at around 164. I would have expected support to hold up there, and now you're making lower lows and lower highs. So, you know, that's why I don't trade these, but interesting look on Micron. Micron, I would be interested in, you know, maybe for the swing or the long term, but certainly not going to be trading it intraday. Those are the reasons I perceive Micron to be strong as of late. And we know that it was certainly one of those ones that can be very volatile, as high bandwidth memory seems to be very in vogue and then out of vogue very, very quickly. You either have a glut of inventory and there's too much HBM, or we can't get enough. We need more. And that probably has a lot to do with the cyclicality of the semiconductor industry. So that's all I can say about that. Technically, on the day, I don't like the current price. But then again, I mean, I don't trade these intraday. So make of that what you will. We're taking we're taking a pause right now, and we're going to Dara for news.
Yeah, just keep an eye on gold. As we mentioned earlier, there was some reports that Switzerland and the U.S. were considering, or I guess Switzerland was considering approaching the U.S. for a quid pro quo, talk on gold and tariffs. Hey, we'll invest in your U.S. gold refining if you lower our tariffs. Now, apparently, I'm seeing that U.S. gold reserves have surpassed $1 trillion for the first time in history. So with that, America holds roughly 2.4 times more gold than Germany, who's the second largest gold holder in the world. So America, again, we're surpassing $1 trillion in gold reserves, roughly 2.4 times the next largest holder of gold. Back to you.
All right. Someone's telling me there's news on Open Door. You don't have to invite me to check. Let me just have a look. Activist Randian sets sights on one group turnaround. No, that ain't that ain't it right there. We're talking about Open Door. Activist Randian. No, that ain't it, man. I'm not seeing anything here, brother, for Open Door, at least not on my blotter. It says Clipwave. He says Open News. I don't see anything, brother. I don't know if Adara sees anything. She's looking into it. If we have anything, obviously, we're not going to hide it from you. We're going to tell you exactly. Randian, yeah, a player in the retail activist army behind the meteoric rise of Open Doors over the past month, looks to apply a similar formula to One Group, an embattled company holding an iconic brand and heaps of potential. According to this article, this is by Street Insider. You guys can go ahead and Google this if you like. There is the title, Open Door activist Randian sets sights on One Group turnaround. That's obviously not related to Open Door, but some relation there, as this Randian activist group. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't really know if I am or not. But yeah, I should probably take a picture of this, Joey, because I've been trying to do more of these retail videos, for like open door, stuff like that on my favorite social media platform, TikTok. And these ones might come in handy here, Joey options. So we're gonna keep an eye out on that.
Good look, good look, good look. Yeah, I was just saying my accuracy on the TQs is absolutely horrendous. So I think this is for the foreseeable future. We might have to just get rid of this thing here, man. I like that the percentage is just brutal on my win rate. So we just got to go to these just specific underlyings instead of trying to play the overall market here. So, but with that being said, let's take a listen to what Adair has to say.
Yeah, so this article, I want to let you guys know, it's actually not new. Right now, the article itself is new, but the Randian Capital getting involved with STKS, which is the one group, that actually happened as of Friday. For some reason, Yahoo Finance released this article today. That's been circulating on social media. But again, Randian Capital getting involved or releasing a turnaround plan for one group. What happened on Friday? Now, why is this significant? And I'm not saying this is why Open Door is down, but I think it is worth noting. This is now the second fairly major Open Door investor that's announced they're moving on to greener pastures in addition to Open Door. We had Eric Jackson last week announcing that he's going to be getting involved in BETR in addition to his involvement with Open Door. Randian Capital, again, this was one of the OG Open Door investors from this most recent retail move. So this is significant. Them plus Eric Jackson maybe signifying that people are still looking at Open Door, but they're looking at other things as well. Back to you.
All right, cool.
I wonder if Eric Jackson's for real.
No, I didn't get it. No, I didn't get it, man.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were leading
for real.
Never.
Yeah.
Shout out to.
Get it, Adira. Sorry, bro.
Sorry, Jack.
I'm in a good mood. Joseph Options.
Oh, sorry. Let me steal something for a second there. I know you got a little something cooking up there. So we're still in the TQs. Let's see what we go. We're going to go across the board on a couple of names before we send it back to Sri to see what we got going on. PSLV, American Airlines. We're not seeing anything substantial.
Different American there, buddy.
American Eagle. What's it up to?
It's not good. It's looking better for you, Joey.
Is it?
No, it's losing 18, that piece of crap.
Yes. Yes, he was celebrating too soon. I was thinking in my head, this guy's sending me links.
I said that to myself. I'm like, shut up, bro. You're going to jinx it.
Yeah. He's sending me links of what jeans he wants, and he's jumping the gun a little bit too early, but he still got time is on his side, that's for sure, with that one. As for Riot and some of these Bitcoin, oh yeah, we can look at Mara again. Here it goes. Pathic.
No.
Oh my days. Who does this think it is? I could tell you that right now. It is Marathon Digital starting to climb higher. So a pretty good look there, guys. Moving aggressively to the top side. I want to get involved in some Bitcoin throughout the day because can this act as a potential leading indicator? I think so. Last time I seen this, Bitcoin was lagging and then decided to go absolutely insane after this. So this is a really good look on Marathon Digital, especially from an intraday standpoint. Let's take a look at it from a daily. Ooh, okay. So Patrick, we had that breakout and then you head right back into the range, but it's held the middle of the range and starting to break out again. So not too horrible of a look. Maybe I get out of the TQs and then maybe we hop in some Bitcoin.
BQ is going, Joey, and it's breaking out. We are getting close to the high of the day. We're going to halt here at 1305. If it continues in this way, I was just about to punch and I'm like, no. Should have done it. Anyway, it's okay. A few more seconds. We're going to get that gray out right now on BQ. The problem is, though, this is trading on the Amex. And so we're going to have to fly blind here. Again, for at least 5 minutes. We're halted $13.05. And typically what I tell you after that, of course, is the tap. The theoretical auction price. Alas, that is all but useless. We're going to still see it, but it's going to mean nothing, which is still right here. It's just going to show me the last price that we closed out at. The tap does not show up, guys, on NYSE listed stocks or Amex, just on the NQ. And so when we trade these small cap gappers that are either on the NYSE or on the Amex, we got to fly blind. So we don't know whether there's a buy or sell imbalance during the halt period, because there's an auction happening in the same way that there's an auction happening into the open and into the close, but just a little bit different. So keep your eye now on why YCBD as the degens, as I've mentioned, they got to punch into something. And here comes YCBD bouncing off VWAP into 150. Punching or moving up into 170, seller at 170, can't shake them. 170's been an important level off and on today on YCBD. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. And again, the issue with YCBD is it's another MX name. BQ and YCBD both have halted and both are on the MX. And obviously with both, we can't see the top. So you got to factor that into your decisions to get in or to not trade these. So I'm going to keep that on watch. Wolf Speed, it's getting delisted or possibly not. According to some reports, it's now down halted at 14.97. It has a high of day of 21. We were watching the topping tails into 21 each successively with a lower high until that topping tail came into 20. So there's that as well. And I'm still involved in HOVR, right? I'm looking for continuation into 90, but I am also on the lookout for a loss of that 80 penny level. That loss of the 80, where we found multiple areas of support, ends the trade for me. So we'd give back 3 pennies in that scenario. And then ENTA, my first winner on the day, and it was good to me. And here it is, 1084 high, trading south of 1050 again. But guess what, guys? The fact of the matter is, this is still holding the 10 EMA on the 5 like a glove, and hasn't lost the 10 EMA at all. So whether or not it's a few shekels off the high of the day is not the end all and be all for me. I'll continue to keep an eye out on that one. We're going to go to Adara for happening now, and then we're going to send you over to Neil's lesson of the day.
Different from where they were initially this morning, right? We were near those highs, we were above 600. Now we're back below 600 and trying to hold on to these levels that we found to support right at the open of the market. Let's see if the Nasdaq will be able to hold this level or crumble lower. I want to talk about Carnival Cruise Lines. They did have earnings, actually a double beat today for CCL, though they were trading lower. This is a look at their annual revenue, and as you can see, they've recovered quite nicely from the doldrums of COVID-19, which was quite hard on the stock, naturally, as a travel company. Now, Trump also announcing some more tariffs this morning on Truth Social. He announced tariffs for films that are made outside of the U.S. That'll be a 100% tariff. He also announced, quote unquote, substantial tariffs for countries that are not making their furniture in the U.S. Now, here are Friday's 3 new tariff announcements that came through on Thursday night involving heavy trucks, more furniture tariffs, actually, and then also pharmaceutical tariffs. So lots of tariff announcements on watch for President Donald Trump. If you want to look at this infographic for the last week's tariff announcements, that's on X at TTV Research. I am currently working on a new one to reflect the announcements that were just made. So always check us out on X at TTV Research. If you enjoy market-related content, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. And we're going to send you to Neil, but first we're going to thank our friends at Plus 500, because if you're looking for a futures trading platform that actually delivers at hidden costs, maybe try Plus 500 Futures. You'll get free live charts, transparent fees, low margins, unlimited demo, so you can practice until you're ready to trade live. Open an account and start trading with as little as $100. With Plus 500's powerful platform, you can access a wide range of futures markets like the S&P 500, Nasdaq, Bitcoin, gas, Forex, metal, crypto, and more, all in one place. Plus, enjoy a welcome bonus of up to $200 in commission-free trading. Just scan that QR code on the screen to apply for your account today and join over 30 million users worldwide who've already chosen Plus 500. Make sure to like, subscribe, and listen to Neil. Neil and his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you, Adara. The first lesson is, despite the fact that it wasn't that good, I did finish the tilapia. I'll eat my salad later. Because you know what? You gotta fuel the body and the mind, so you can be locked and loaded for the rest of the day. That being said, no matter how your day is going, I promise you one thing in trading. The market makers don't actually want you to win. I shouldn't say nobody. When you look at the big whales or just in general market makers, one thing that is almost always certain is they're usually looking to set traps at the open, disguise which direction a stock is going to go, all that kind of stuff. And so you have to try to navigate your thesis around what can be just nastiness at the open. And an example of that, well, I'll give you two examples of that, but the first one's going to be Tesla, man. Tesla, for all intents and purposes, bullish stock on a daily, bullish on a 15, looks like it's breaking out in every single regard today. But instead, what do we get? We get the false break at the open where it absolutely rinses you. And this is where, you know, you have to sort of stand back and just, you know, take the L when the continuation of the breakout doesn't work, right? Because and here's the thing, for every time, and I'm going to show you in Nvidia, for every time that a stock breaks out and it holds higher for most of the morning, there's your continuation. You could have bought the first available dip. For every time that happens, the other side of that coin is it doesn't work, and you've got to get out of Dodge. Now, if you don't, you've got $7, $8 worth of pain to deal with on Tesla before it eventually catches a bid off of the 440 lows, where you can re-engage. You can take a shot. I mean, I've re-engaged a couple times here at the 440 level because that was the next big one for me. But if you don't, it's a lot of pain. And remember, when something does work, hold that level here, it's fantastic. Like Nvidia, maybe you get some fall through. But there's usually multiple opportunities to get in. And the thing about the open is like I said, very often times it'll be the thing that you like the most is the one that's going to get rinsed. But I thought all to the world, silver, gold, they're both going to have continuation. The buy trend was ridiculous, and it showed on Friday, hey, it's going to dip at the open, and then buy the first available dip. Well, I didn't follow the rule in this particular case. So sometimes they shake you with a false breakout, the dip buy doesn't work, and this time they do the false breakout and then you don't even do the dip buy. But what should happen in a situation like this, where I look for the early long, okay, that didn't work. Look what happens right here. Here's your liquidity grab. So it breaks the low of the day, and the very next candle breaking that low is the biggest green candle of the morning. Now, if you've ever been in a rinse job at the open or a liquidity grab, if the greatest amount of buying shoots up like this, a lot of times you're like, oh, that's a hammer long. Now, why wouldn't I have hammered it long? It's like the smallest volume candle. But the continuation candle on this showed you this is now a buy. This is a continuation candle buys, and then you put in a higher low. Now, I didn't get involved until the volume weighted average price, but if you ever find yourself in a liquidity grab rinse out false break, you're looking for indications of where to get back in because it's such a bullish setup. Now, in Tesla, obviously, it just continued down, but in this particular case, it rinsed everybody, and then immediately buying started coming back in. And then it tried to dip, and then buying comes back in. That's where you join the trend buying the dips instead of the alternative. So you have to sometimes expect, even on your long ideas, that you might get the rinse job. And if you do, either wait for it to go all the way, test that low, and once it tests the low, jump back in, or if it immediately slams right back up when testing that low, don't be afraid to jump back into the trade. 9:30 till 10 o'clock, that first half an hour, sometimes even the first 5 or 10 minutes, is where the market makers are looking to shake people out to try to get the stock to go, or whales are looking to shake people out to get it to go the direction that they want. And as I said, for every single time where something is really clean on a breakout and it just continues, you will have the shenanigans in the other direction. Be willing to sit out the max pain, like on Tesla, and re-engage at a new level. Or if the current level that you're watching happens to still be good, be willing to jump right back in. Now, I didn't either time. Eventually, I got in silver at exactly the same price, but I could have been in at a better price, or I could have been in here. So be willing to jump back in. Your thesis isn't dead just because the market makers decided to run some people in the first 15 to 20 minutes of the day. A lot of times, it might just make it even stronger. So there's your lesson of the day. Good luck to everyone out there. And don't get trapped by those market makers. Sometimes if it's okay to sit out that open, that's fine. But the other thing is, don't be afraid to jump back in after they've done their mess.
Now keep an eye here in MSOS dropping. As you can see, volume spike on this as well. Seeing reports that the Department of Justice is preparing to ask a federal court to extend the current pause on marijuana rescheduling proceedings until January 27th, 2026. So it looks like this marijuana rescheduling proceeding is going to continue to be delayed. Here is MSOS. Other tickers you can look at include TLRY, ACB, and CGC. Back to you.
Yeah, they really don't want to reschedule that. First of all, I want to thank Neil for that lesson. I'm not allowed to call him the hotline dropper, but I will call him the knowledge dropper and the fact dropper. He was dropping bare facts on that lesson today.
Facts.
So shout out to Neil. Great lesson of the day, and yeah, what are you looking at, Joe?
Yeah, I got the two rolling, man. We're still looking at through some of these names. We're sitting in our two positions still currently, IBET flat, and then we're still sitting in this TQs trade. Glad that we went relatively small. Hopefully price starts to turn around, and then we can really start to get the ball rolling and head back in towards the volume weighted average price here, guys. So yeah, let's go through a couple more of these names. NU Holdings, what's going on over there? It's Mara still climbing higher. Pulling back off of that 1780 level, so nothing crazy. SoFi getting taking it on the chin this morning, that's for sure. Some selling experience in 2850 all the way down to 2710. So, watch out for that one. What is this BQ? Why does it have the a bunch of alerts and?
Because it's halted, my boy.
Oh, that's
to the
what
upside.
it does. All right.
We're likely going to be 50-minute halt on that.
You're in it to the top side.
No,
you weren't. Okay, all right, my brother, man. As for QBTS, D-Wave, let's zoom out. Go, crypto, grow. We're getting a nice little bounce there in Bitcoin. Yeah, this is what we want to see daily. Man, look at this run. This is insane. This is a big-time insane move. Wow. 14 bucks from that from the trough all the way up to that peak, 104% from August to September. 1 month, you got 100% return. That's some big-time moves in the quantum space. And yes, absolutely. Ticker visualizer. Guys, make sure you get those dollar signs in and vote. I know what I'm going to vote right now. It never shows up. Joey? It never shows up on the board, brother. It never, ever. You know
what we can show though?
But let's show it. Pull it up.
It is, baby.
See, look, who's that? Who did that one right there?
IBIT.
Who did that? Who would
vote for IBIT? I mean, come on.
What kind of madman would do that? But as for IBIT, that's the TQs. We're getting back to flat there. Okay. Now let's head over and see what we got cooking up on Bitcoin. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew, pew. There it is, guys, starting to work out for us. Let's see if we can get closer to that high of the day. 64.90 going to be that first target.
So you said Saturday night you want to put a couple of bets on.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you were inside the house.
I was inside.
Because anybody outside Saturday night in Liberty Village probably paid the price. You want to know why?
Oh, brother, listen.
I was there.
You were there?
I was watching the GOAT. I was at TFC. I watched Messi, TFC versus Miami.
That's
I was
why
there.
It was so crazy.
It was the most insane time leaving. Can I tell you where I parked?
Oh, brother,
I parked by Billy Bishop. I walked half an hour from Billy Bishop Airport to BMO Field because I didn't want to get caught in that. It didn't matter, bro. It didn't matter.
You screwed yourself even more from going over there.
It was so bad.
Hey, listen, you call me next time, I give you parking spot.
Joey, if I parked at Liberty Village, I would have paid multiplied by 3
Dude, I was supposed
the
to
time. Because it was insane.
No, I get you free. I get you free.
No,
parking. To get out. Brother, I was supposed to go to dinner with my family and my siblings. I looked out on my balcony. I'm like, yeah, I'm not coming.
It was insane.
I literally sent them a picture. I'm like, this is my driveway. Like the lineup out of the driveway is insane. Is that why it was going nuts? Is because Messi was
half
there?
The stadium were Toronto supporters.
Yeah.
And then half the stadium, not Miami supporters.
No, Messi. That's
supporters.
Why it was nuts.
Anytime he touched the ball, it was like, the place went.
Is that what it was? Because I hear it from my house.
He didn't even score.
Yeah, I hear it from my house.
He just touched the ball.
Like, yeah.
Yo, people love that guy blindly. But anyway, I got some video there.
That's
we'll
good.
show you guys.
But it was an app. Dude, that's why I'm honestly getting so sick of living there. Like, again,
it's beautiful.
It's great. Right, it's great. Well, other than the fact that it smells like dog urine and the traffic is absolutely insane. Because literally, honestly, there's equally as many dogs as there are people in Liberty Village, and it's kind of like it's like a younger area. You got all the bars and the restaurants and everything along those lines. You walk down the street, you see everybody that you know. Yeah, they're at the bars, blah blah. But to get out of the place, and if I have to play play hockey, Sharif, I'm snapping.
It's tough.
I'm
It's tough.
snapping.
It's because number one, it's an older area that they've kind of rejuvenated, so everything's still very small, like a downtown. But you know, it's just a lot of people packed in. But anyway, it was good times.
Yeah, good
It
time.
was
Glad
a
you had a good time.
fantastic little game there. Shout out to Messi.
Well, the thing is, on like some of the buildings on the east side of Liberty Street, they're not even fully occupied yet. So it's like you better be charging these people insane levies so they can build some more infrastructure, because there's only so many ways to get out, and everything is literally 2 lanes, one south, one north, and that's it. And when there's traffic, good luck. That's why I've been rocking the bikes in the summertime. Just rock the bike and just get out of there, man. It's rough. Rough.
Guys, I'm trying to play YCBD here off that 150. I feel like there's support at 150. We have higher lows, but we also have lower highs. So, you know, I could get caught in the bamboozlement. But yes, BQ was halted. Where's my BQ screen? Here it is. BQ was halted. It was halted, I think, for 15 minutes at 13 and change. And now it is an $18 high. It's not at $18, as you can see. It's a little bit below 16, 15 and a half, 15 and a third. So did spike up into 18, sold off aggressively all the way down into 13. The opening print on this candle is literally where we're at right now, 15 and change, I believe 15, 15 and a half. So I don't know which way this cookie crumbles, but it's all sorts of strong and all sorts of volatile right now. So be on the lookout. I just got stopped out of YCBD as it did lose that 50 penny area, so this will be the first loser on the day, but we will look to do some damage here on BQ if it is warranted, right? So continuing to watch this one. YCBD is no longer tradable under my system because it did lose a VWAP, and it doesn't have as much juice here, as you can see, as BQ does. So we're going to be very fixated now on BQ, looking for technical levels. $13, obviously an important level, as we did spend some time there for the halt. So if it does come back down into 13, this could be an interesting buy area. And here it comes, 1370s right back into 14s we go. I mean, I personally, unless you're going to get caught on the down halt, I'd be looking to pick up in and around the 13 and a quarter, 13 and a third, in and around 13, just for that hold of the technical area, unless it's going to down halt into there, in which case I wouldn't be buying into a down halt, especially if you start showing that parameter. Here we go, dipping into that level. All right, 13 and a third. We're going to try to get long over here. Where do we get? We got 23s. So it's pumping up to 50. We'll take some at 50. Is there a seller here? There's a seller. Let's see if we can get out a little bit more up here. Anything below 13 ends the trade for me. Right back up into 5th. Boom, Joey, into 75. We've got 83s on. Nice trade. Okay, not too bad. A little bit, I was a little too aggressive there. Should have been holding off a little bit of a piece. Right back up into 14s it goes. I think I just fat fingered there. I didn't mean to take out so much so quickly, but hey, that's a mistake on my part. Continuing to watch. So it was a 13 almost to the T, exactly the level there. 13.12 is the low of this candle. So I had the right bias, poor execution. We'll look to do better on the second attempt if there is one. So that halt level is the reason I looked at 13. And the reason I talk about that is that these intraday halt levels are interesting areas of support and resistance. And there it goes, right back up into 15, the current candle high, guys, 1575. So if we clear 1575 on the 5-minute chart, that is a current candle high. Continuing to watch here as we get back into 15. 1537. Wow, the strength on this one coming in fast and furious, Joey. What do you got on your side, my man?
Guys, we started to piece some out there on IBIT. We got back to the break even in the TQs, but then now that's starting to head back to where it just previously was. We'll hold up on it there. Boom, 84s. We take some 82s, whatever it may be. We're locking it in on IBIT. Yeah, sorry, Assassino. I was tapped in there. You got it there. Appreciate it. Sorry, brother. I was typing and I was looking at charts and everything along those lines, so I apologize for the distraction. Wow, look at the aggressive selling. Hop right back into the Nasdaq. All those minutes of grinding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gone in a matter of 60 seconds. So that's what you gotta love about these markets. But Sharif, what do you got?
Yes, sir. Beta Pro, guys. Beta Pro by Global X Canada. Okay. Someone put the wrong one in. Okay. I'll read this one. Beta Pro by Global X Canada has just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs. They're offering 3 times bull and 3 times bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60, semiconductors, as well as U.S. Treasuries. And if you want even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping those management fees down to just 65 basis points all up until New Year's Eve of this year, December 31st, 2025, Katina Man. That's when they're doing it. Katina Man has no idea what I'm talking about. He just walks in and I'm yelling at him. Everything's fine. These ETFs also employ currency hedging to seek to neutralize U.S. dollar exposure, providing performance that may more accurately reflect the underlying U.S. equity indices. So if you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3 times daily to learn more. Shout out to the great folks at Beta Pro. Joey Option.
Yes, sir.
So I want to answer a question.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Gavin Budd had a great question in the
I
chat.
thought you said Gavin Newsom.
No, no, definitely not him. I have no problem with him, but he's, I don't fall on that side. But Gavin Ross had a really good question. He was asking Neil. He's like, why doesn't Sharif short these small cap gappers once they lose VWAP? And that is a fantastic question, brother.
Yeah.
Because in 23, when these small cap gappers had like no strength to the upside, Joey, I found myself doing exactly that. Because they'd literally make one move, maximum 2, and then it was kaput. And then it was a fade. And so I wouldn't typically get short until they lost VWAP in the same way, where I don't go long unless they're above VWAP. So Gavin, smart on you, brother. I've chosen by personal choice to be a long-only small-cap trader. It doesn't mean that they are not equally as valid to the south side. I just choose not to do them that way.
So
great question.
In QT environments, you just fade those.
Joey, it wasn't about QT. I mean, may correlate. It may absolutely correlate. But my observation at the time was it just didn't have the juice.
It didn't have the juice.
It was 1 or 2 moves to the high side and then fade.
Okay, that's it.
It was 23.
I mean,
early 23,
like we know
23.
people just make an insane amount of cash fading some of these moves.
Absolutely.
Sure, right?
Absolutely.
Big time, yeah.
There's no question about it. I'm not even going to argue that.
Bro,
that's facts.
yo, what?
Yeah.
Yo, who is that?
What happened?
Yuan, man. What? Did you see?
He's asking the same question that Gavin asked.
No, look at the Dijuan guy.
Is Joey. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Come on, bro. Come on.
Bro, where is the respect?
Yeah.
Where is the respect?
My man, he's wifed up. He's living with wifey.
Yeah,
all right, like it's all the boxes are
crazy.
checked. Just leave him alone.
That's
all right.
Crazy.
All right. What else you got? Tommy Gunn, you evil villain. You're the worst of the worst, Tommy Gunn. There's no more evil villains in Rocky than you, bro. I'll take Clubber Lang over you any day. Even Ivan Drago. I mean, at least you know. Anyway. What's that, Neil? Drago was about if he dies, he dies. Dun, 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 dun. Well, you know what, Neil? He kind of turned a little bit at the end there because, it looked like they were just using him as a prop to kill Americans. It feels like they're in the Rocky IV movie. But, it's just my... It's Mario and Luigi. Look at this guy, bro. Get out of here, by the way. Don't worry about me and my Luigi stash here. Leave me alone. Let me do my thing.
Yeah, let me do it.
All right, Joey.
And let me do it.
What are you doing on your side there?
All right. So let's go over it. Let's talk a little bit about it here. As for IBIT, guys, you guys are absolutely hilarious for sure. So there it is, right? You get the little pop there. Actually, never mind that. We're gonna go over to the big boy because it deserves that. We're still sitting in this TQ's trade. If it cracks this 102.50 level, then we're just going to get out of the trade. Now let's go back to IBIT. Boom, we take that pop all the way up into the 83 level, 82, 83. We take the majority of it off and then get stopped at about 25% right there. Ooh, phone call.
Yeah.
And then also, again, we can just do a quick trade review as well. What else did we trade? TQs were still sitting in that. I can just look to my left. Amazon, that was definitely our better trade of the day. But yeah, it's really starting to cook up and just grind higher. We like this name for sure for potential continuation to the long side. Nice indecision prints on the daily. Now we're starting to get a 5-minute hammer candle on NVDA, which we might get involved in that one as well. But there it goes. Boom. Amazon, nice little move. TSLL, multiple occasions. We go 2 for 3 on that one. Bang, initial one was a loss. We hop back in, boom, boom, we take it. We do get stopped out quite a bit there, but that's okay, because what do? We take another little scalp to the top side as well there. So yeah, let's go TQ, let's get that bounce. NVDA, if it starts to participate to the long side, then maybe we might be in for a nice grind higher in the overall market. There it is, break even now on the NAS, but here it is, right? Strong 5-minute opening drive. Orb traders, 5 minutes, pop. You take it to the top side. 184 is that high. Guess what? Now you have an indecision print south of the volume weighted average price. Now, let's do this. You know what we're going to do.
What are you going to do?
We're going to pull it up. The chain, pull it up, and see what we got at 184. Why are we continuously rejecting this level and then not climbing any higher? So what does 185 have? Oh my days. 185, guys, 193,000 contracts with 66,000 current contracts open, and that's going to be at that 0.33 delta. Watch out for a potential ceiling there on NVDA.
Joey, I need to tell them about Trade the Pool, because Beat Ackman live trading competition is absolutely here. October 8th to October 10th, every day, Ackman makes his move. Your mission? To outperform him, beat his return, prove you've got what it takes. Then, the grand finale on October 13th. Broadcast live on Trader TV with the Trade the Pool team live in the studio. It's going to be over $600,000 in prizes that are up for grabs. 25K, 50K, even 100K, Joey, valuation accounts, plus surprise giveaways during Katina Man, the live show, when, of course, Trade the Pool and your best friend Mitch joins us as well. Don't just watch, guys. Compete. Beat Ackman. Win big. Scan that QR code and start trading. I like how they drew Ackman in here. Why do people keep calling me, Joey?
Answer it.
No. We can't do it. We can't do it live.
What was I just about to say there? Okay, so what? We got 3 days of this competition, and it's going to be
and then it culminates on the very appropriate day when Trade the Pool is coming. Of course, being Canadian Thanksgiving. Nobody has plans on that day. No big deal.
No, I'm in that competition, man. Especially if we're doing it live here. How much is it going to cost?
I don't know if people associated with the show or
are
friends
allowed to.
Yeah, Joey. I think it might be for the people.
So it's like that, eh?
We're gonna have to check with Brendo.
All right. We'll see. We'll ask Brendo first.
We'll have to see what Brendo has to say about that.
If we can participate.
No, but seriously, guys, that's a big deal. Like how they're drawing. They're involving Ackman in that, so it's a nice little.
If I win the 25K, I'll just super chat the largest ever super chat ever.
So random. Love it. All right, guys, I have another Bhavin Patel special. All right, and this time it's under the ticker CIFR, and hopefully it's on the NQ. Yes, it's on the NQ. All right, but it's only up 8.5%, so we can't really look at this one as a halt candidate quite yet, but it is near or at the high of the day. Just allow me a second here to load it up on the side chart so I can get accurate data. Now, CIFR is one that I already have on my proprietary watch list. I have it under mining, crypto mining. So it's a Kiefer or Cipher. $5 billion market cap. It's traded at about 31.5 million shares on the day, but it's got strength, as does basically every single crypto name that I have on my watch list. There's nothing red, nothing, at least on mine, okay? So we'll look to trade this Bhavin if it sets up in the right way, but I hesitate to do that because it doesn't fall under the small cap gapper, requirements that we've set out. So I'm going to keep it on the side chart. I just want to mention it for you guys. Nice flat top breakthrough there through to 12.20. It essentially has resistance at the $0.50, having a high of day of 12.48. Currently trading in the low 40s. So look, let's basically update you guys on some of the trades that we've been keeping an eye on. BQ is well off the highs. $18 high, it's losing the 10 EMA, it's on the way to the 20, and it's about to get into $11. So it's substantially off the highs. I'm talking about BQ, and it's been basically lower highs and lower lows ever since we made that $18 area high that ended up in a topping tail candle. That's BQ, big flyer on the day. Let's go to the other big flyer, YCBD. Also, it's a symphony of lower highs. We got out there at that 194 high. That is the high of the day. And since that time, it hasn't even been close. It's been, as I mentioned, a series of lower lows and lower highs. And it's, barely holding on to VWAP. So we'll see how this one ends up doing. ENTA, though, has been the gift that keeps on giving. It's been a very steady state up. And it's up a respectable 34%. It's not at the high at the moment. It's 59s. 1059 is the high of the day. Is 1084. Okay. Also, tlry and Aurora Cannabis, two of the names that were very strong on the day, have both started giving back a little bit. tlry looks like a rounded top coming into that 1055 area where VWAP is. So, I don't really want to be a buyer of tlry at 155, especially if the trend continues to do what it's doing, which is lower lows and lower highs. It's not of interest to me. I need proof that that's going to get picked up off VWAP. Likewise with ACB. ACB also had the volume weighted average price, and it had it right at $6. And it's losing it, even though there was kind of the double the support, VWAP and the whole dollar level. It didn't care. It seems to be finding support at the 50 EMA on the 5, not a level I typically use. So we'll see if this one can also change its tune and start trending up a little bit. Another Bhavin Patel special was AREC. This made a high day of 333, coming back down now into the 3 high teens. 315 is VWAP. I'd like to see this one catch a bit to the high side before I get in. So there's nothing, in my humble estimation, that sets up under my system at the moment. Since that is the case, I will steer clear of any of these names unless a new one weasels onto the scene, and I don't need to wait long, do I? Because another one has weaseled onto the set scene, and it goes by the ticker BKKT, and this is a former convict. This one's been locked up. Oh no, look at that, moving into the highs. Great look here on BKKT. Backed holdings, and it does meet our requirements of small cap gapper status as it is trading at $610 million market cap. High of day, 2665. Low of day, 1905. Closing print from Friday, 18. So this one's got a lot of strength right now, and we're going to have to set up on it the right way, though. Watching this trade for the few seconds that I have, I can already tell you it's likely spready. So let's go ahead and load it up on said side chart. But who are we going to remove here, Joe? We're going to have to take somebody off, and we're going to take off Hover. All right, BKKT on the NQ, I believe. I'm wrong. Is on the NY. Yes, it is on the NY. So if this one halts, we also won't have eyes on this one either, as we will only see the Nasdaq halt tap theoretical auction price. So we're into the high. It looks like we're setting up a little bit of a bull flag here with...
oh, what the hell?
Pardon me. Sorry, where's my BKKT chart? There we go. Sorry, I lost my BKKT chart. We're going to have to take off somebody here. Who are we going to take off? Let's take off CIFR because it's not a small cap gapper. All right, man. So 2665 high. It's been a series of higher lows and higher highs. Let's give this one the old college try and see what we can get on this one, Joey. What do you got on your side? It's a 9-penny spread, by the way, on BKKT.
Absolutely. What I got here, Shreve, is that what I'm really noticing here is that we have 4,800 people watching and then approximately only 375 likes.
Oh.
So I'm just trying to figure out the math on this one.
I don't know.
From a percentage metric. Yeah, and it's not mathing right now, that's for sure.
Joey.
Guys, so make sure you please do us a solid and hit that like and subscribe, please and thanks. Well, I'm gonna say it. We don't ask for much, but if you could hit that, that would be absolutely wonderful. But no, in all seriousness, guys. And in all seriousness, guys, we're all out of most of our names. The only thing we got cooking up here today is TQQQ. And now we got that little bit, we got close to that break even once again, still grinding higher. If we get a bounce in NVDA, then I think we'll be okay. I haven't looked at many of the other names. What is Microsoft and wow, Robinhood, 132.50, right back towards that high of the day. Fantastic stuff. But let's take a look at what Goggles has been up to. Okay, so relatively weak there in Google. If we get a bounce off of these lows, then I like our chances. And if NVDA starts to climb higher, then I think that we might be sitting in a pretty good position. There goes the indecision print on NVDA climbing higher. IBIT starting to head back towards that previous pivot high as well too. Fine, like but check out the Meta options chain for me. Yeah, you know what? You like it. You tell me that you've liked it, I'll go and I'll check absolutely anything. Boom, we almost doubled in likes just like that.
That's
much
crazy.
Appreciated. 2 seconds, Dumbo Things Films. I promise you I will. I just want to go and take a look at Apple, and then we're going to hop right into Meta's options chain, and then we're going to take a look at what we see from this week's expiration cycle. So yeah, not too much going on here on AAPL. We'll zoom out and take a look at the daily momentarily, but first, I'm a man of my word, and I told Dumbo and Things that we will look at his precious Meta and see what we got going on from the options chain standpoint. Now, my friend, on this week's expiration cycle, bang, let's see what we got. Okay, is this 2 weeks from, no, this is this week, right? Boom, 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 boom. Yep, okay, so that's Friday. Let's see, Dome. Yeah, all right, so let's take a look and see what we got going on here. 760, there is some volume coming in, but as for the open interest, you're not gonna see too much. It's never been one of those names that has an outstanding amount of options contracts being traded, but we can obviously gauge it and see what we got. Clue in on some specific levels, what max pain is going to be on the week, and that's going to be our highest level of OI, and that's 800. That's quite away from the current price that we're trading at right now. So nothing substantial on the options chain. Keep that in mind. And other than 760, you might get a little bit of some activity within that, more activity in that contract, but nothing substantial except for that 5,000 all the way up there at 800. Adara, what do you got for us?
And I hear in TSLA, I'm seeing that apparently in a letter, 2 Democratic senators are urging the auto safety regulators, likely the NHTSA, though this doesn't specify, to address concerns about reported failures of Tesla's FSD or full self-driving system to detect and respond to railroad crossings. We have heard similar allegations or concerns before. This isn't necessarily new, but keep an eye on TSLA none the same. Also keep an eye on SRPT. I'm seeing some FDA speculation here as we have a post on LinkedIn from George Tidmarsh, the FDA's top drug regulator, about the potential of looking into these DMD type names, DMD developers. SRPT is a DMD developer, so this is viewed as potentially bullish for SRPT. Back to you.
I was listening to your All In podcast over there. I love it. Yeah, I love it. I listened to the Uber one. Did you?
The Uber one.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I was listening to the one this weekend about the H-1Bs, and
nice.
there was a lot of information from those guys about the real application and use of the H-1B that I had no idea about. You have to understand, I thought that I understood the H-1B. My sister went into the States under an H-1B. She's a dentist, right? And so they had to do this whole thing where they put in a newspaper article, and it's just a whole thing, Joey. And a lot of the people think that, these are used by people making $500,000, $1 million a year, when the average salary for somebody on the H-1B is about $65,000. Meaning you can kind of make a backward deduction for that you're likely bringing in to replace good-paying American jobs rather than very niche technical jobs. Now, of course, there's going to be your Sundars, your Satches, your Elons, all people who came in under the H-1B who are obviously very talented, and you would love to have those in any country. But, it looks like as the majority maybe not coming in that way. Go ahead, Adara.
Satya's H-1B story is just really interesting. So he was initially in a green card, but he had to convert to an H-1B in order to bring his wife into the country.
Who, Adara? Who?
Satya.
Satya, yes.
That was kind of a fun fact.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you, Adara.
But at the end of the day, it's like these guys could just buy the gold card if it ever came down to it. Like, it's $1 million. I mean, now. But
no, but like what Freeberg was saying on the show, Joey, it made a lot of sense. He's like, look, if you amortize $100,000 over 5 years, right? It ends up, and you're going to pay somebody a substantial amount of money, say like $250,000 and above, someone very technical, very niche. It makes sense to do that, right? Like as an employer, it's not a bad bet. But I think there was just a lot of misconceptions about what the H-1B was really being used for and who it was really targeting. And so we got some information. I got some information there that I didn't know about.
Very interesting. So as for what I was listening to on the All In, listen to the Vlad Tenev one as well too, which was pretty cool. And him just talking about tokenizing some of the private names there, which I found very, very interesting. And a lot of stuff there going on about Uber and Waymo and Tesla and everything along those lines, benefits of LiDAR and camera systems and everything along those lines. But Corey Ewing, no relations to Patrick Sharif.
Yes,
My
sir.
guy, still holding my November 21 47.50 call options on DKNG. It is breaking my heart. However, I have taken a spot on D Pro. This is a good small capper to watch. Your thoughts?
All right.
D Pro.
Guys, I just want to mention before I get into that, I'm long BQ 1188. We've wet the beak multiple times here into 12. I'm looking for continuation, but I'm just very aware that I might have to flatten out at any minute because BQ, well, it's the animal that it is, right? So just before I get to that, Corey, brother, I just have to set up my stops on this one. So current bar low is 1140. So I've taken out, let me just see how much of the position. Yeah, so we can risk with this one. So we're going to go 1139 for the remaining amount, and hopefully we won't get into too much trouble over here, as it does look like it will lose the bid and we will get stopped out very quickly on the remaining amount over here on BQ unless it rockets right back up. No, we're already out. So we'll give back a little bit on that. That's all right. Let's have a look over, though, on the PRO. Let's put that TPRO. So what do we got here? Dragonfly. Okay. Dragonfly. First and foremost, what do we got here? $149 million market cap. Canada-based company, provider of drone solutions, AI-driven software, and robotics. I'm punching. The company provides solutions for public safety, agricultural, industrial inspection, security, mapping, and surveying. Products include Apex, Commander 3 XL, heavy lift drone, a bunch of others. Okay, great. So now we have an idea of what they do. Let me just look at market cap 149 million. Not bad. Okay, so what's his daily look like? Okay, well, I mean, everything's coming back from COVID highs, obviously. Yeah, look, I hate to look at it like this because, well, that's COVID, right? And we know what happened during the COVID days. This thing was up 1,000% in a few weeks, right? Trading right around $40. That's previous to the two splits that it had. And it rocketed up about to $425, and then all hell broke loose to the downside. This is one of those very few ones, though, I digress, where the move up is a little bit slower than the move down. Usually the move up is a bit slower than the move down. The move down is usually a bit faster than the move up. So let's go in a little bit closer over here on the daily, so we can get a general idea of where to find support. So support seems to be coming in every time at 155. You had an area low, September 24, got bought up. Then you had a period low where we held this area from essentially May of this year all the way to early June at 150. Rocketed right back up. We have a local area high from back in mid-July, Corey, into 7.5. Looks like we're working our way right back into that 7.5. A nice little, I mean, you can look at this as a rounded bottom. You can say many different things. I think if we take out 7.5 decisively, Corey, we're looking real good at least till 9, right? 9 was a long area of a support level from basically back in late January of 24 till about mid-February. This is the daily, by the way, where we held 9 decisively, got back into about 12.5, and then really dropped. That feels like a move into an earnings report, as usually, you know, people start speculating that the earnings report might be good, and then all hell breaks loose to the downside once that earning report comes back. So that's my look there. Now, in addition to some of these moving averages, right, we're substantially above the 200. And take a look at this, Corey. When we cleared the 200 and got to 7.5, look at exactly where we found support, right at 380, where the 200 was. So respect to the 200, I like that, and I like it a lot more if it can get above and hold above 7.5. I think you've got the right idea. You know, whether your Donkey Kong, your DKNG trade may be going against you at the moment. We talked about the range that DKN's been in for a prolonged period of time, but I think you got the right trend here, not just in technicals, but you got the right trend in terms of industry. We know where warfare is going, sadly. Anybody who watches TikTok videos or whatever other videos of the war in Eastern Europe knows exactly what I'm talking about, and that noise. And I don't think that's changing anytime soon. That's just my personal opinion. I like the fact that it's a Canadian company, obviously, but that's a little bit biased on my part. I am not biased about this 7.5 break. I think if you break above 7.5, you don't necessarily have a a blue sky setup or anything, but you're going to encounter areas of resistance that may be $1.50 away from your entry. I don't know where you're long. It doesn't say where you're long. I've taken a spot in DPRO. Is it a good small cap gapper to watch? Your thoughts? I think it's good. I think you've got the right industry, as I've mentioned, and you're above the 200, which shows that you're trending in the right way. When you look at the higher lows and higher highs, certainly there. I'm involved in a similar name. It's not drones, obviously. It's eVTOLs, Joby, aviation. We've talked about that. And you're going to have to expect volatility with these. It's a very nascent technology, both drones and eVTOLs, especially in the format that they're going to be employed, whether warfare or shorter distance delivery and transportation. In the case of eVTOLs, obviously, so you're gonna have to deal with what comes with a newer industry. So I like your pick, brother. I thank you for pointing this one out. In fact, I'm gonna actually take a picture of it right here, because Joey Options, just because we're in eVTOL doesn't mean we're in drones, right?
Yeah.
They're two distinctly different things. Shout out to Obe, he is the one, Kenob. So yeah, on the day you're down 1 1/3, but I don't think that's why you're holding it for an intraday trade. Shout out to Corey, great call again on some of your picks, and I hope you print up multiple storms on your Donkey Kong calls there. I think you've got the right idea, just about a matter of waiting for the right timing. We'll have to wait and see, especially if your boy Joey Options keeps trading the way or betting the way he does. We know what he wants to do Saturday night.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing. Exaggerating for effect. Guys, ENTA, we were involved in this one. This is my best trade on the day, and it is rocketing right back up again. It is a 12.19 high. This one's, look at this. I mean, can anybody spot a breach of the 10? Because I certainly cannot, right? Especially on a closing basis. You just have one quick wick here, Assassino, that lost the 10 EMA, and then you see what it did after that. ENTA, big boy move, Joey.
All right, good stuff there. 14 years, 0 hacks, 0 excuses. BTCC.com delivers when others don't. Trade Bitcoin up to 500x, even Tesla, gold, and Forex. With smart copy trading, you don't just watch the pros, you trade like them. Regulated in the USA, Canada, and Europe, trusted by 6.8 million traders. Trader TV Live exclusive. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description box for a 15% deposit bonus. BTCC.com, where the pros trade, and now so can you. All right, guys, good luck. See, there's some resistance that we're experiencing right at this 102, 103, we'll call it flat level on the TQs. Keeps rejecting it on multiple occasions, and then now you're starting to see some of these bigger names come back in. Well, I mean, they're already south of the volume weighted average price. That's going to be the likes of NVDA, Amazon. Looks like it almost double top there, Gorev. So keep an eye out on that one. And then obviously you want to monitor the neckline as well too, because once that cracks, potentially look for some more downside there. And then as for Bitcoin, took an aggressive 5-minute selling candle. CoreWeave isn't looking too bad either. But keep a note, guys. Keep a note that the fact that this downtrend is still 110% still intact. Until you're on the backside of it, then I would not necessarily be looking to trade into this. You can get a move maybe into the downtrend line, but then north of that, watch out for the potential rejections because you have multiple on that trend line. So keep that in mind. And as for any of the other names, we'd love to get this balance, but now we're starting to form this shelf. I don't like shelves, right? Because that just gives some room for the underlyings to actually fall a little bit further. I thought that considering that this 5 minutes after the open or right out of the open, we were strong in the Nasdaq, but we haven't established any form of a new high or even close of it since then. So half an hour buying is reached by countless hours of selling. Well, not hours, but quite a bit of selling, a couple hours of selling right there. So yeah, that's a pretty good look. Now I'm just fully distracted and lost my train of thought.
Assassino's so good, bro. As soon as he sees me showing you the phone, he does the two-shot, bro. He kills me.
Yeah, it's crazy. But no, that's what I got going on. I'm gonna sit in this TQ's trade stream until we establish a new low of the day. Once it does that, then I just hop out of the trade.
Bovin mentioning ANGX moving up. I have not had a look at it. Let's take a look at this latest Bovin pick. ANGX, let me just make sure. ANGX moving up. Let me go to the 5 minute on this one, Bovin. Yeah, not bad. What are we talking about in terms of volume here, Bovin? It's a $5 name, 1.86 million. Yeah, okay, so I don't necessarily like it, but when I look a little bit further, looks like the volume's coming in quite recently. 1210 spike, 1220 spike each with about 200,000+ shares a pop. Not the biggest mover, certainly, and not the biggest percentage winner, but I like that 10 EMA hold. 41s right now, 10 EMA at 525. Very slow mover, though, Bovin. So it's not exactly, you know, one of those more liquid stocks. So we're going to throw it on there. It's up 39%, a respectable amount, no question about that. YCBD's lost its spot on the side chart for me because it's substantially below VWAP. So we're going to change it ANGX. I'm also keeping an eye on BKKT, by the way, because it's still trading well. So where is this one trade? Where is this piece of crap trade? Jeez, man. It always does this to me. Embarrassing. All right. New York? Yes, New York. ANGX is on the NYSE. So we will look at it there. All right, 550 currently Bovin, rejecting that $0.50. Who are we gonna? We're gonna remove YBCD, so that's fine. ANGX. Sorry, guys, just getting myself organized over here, trying to keep an eye out on this. Bovin, you know, I'm also concerned about the lower highs. 573 high, then 572, then this current candle has 555. So there's some lower highs at play, but I do see what you're seeing, which is likely a bull pennant, a bit of a compression pattern there with a big move up off that 4.5. That's the breakout area, tops out 5 3/4, now 5.5 seems to be the level. So not a bad look on ANGX, but not exactly, you know, super directional. It's also an 8-penny spread, 42s on the bid, 50 on the ask. It's not ideal by any means, but we were trading ENTA, which had a similar setup where we saw, you know, the spread open up to 10 pennies at times. You know, it got as tight as 2, but I don't know, Bovin. I don't know what I'm going to do on this. Now, certainly I can get out at 20s because there's certainly support at that 20 penny area. But getting in here, I'd have to risk 30 pennies, right? Because we're at 550 and I'd have to give this, excuse me, to 520. That might be a bit more than I want to take in terms of risk, especially given the spread, right? Yeah, it's a good one, Bovin. I just don't think that this one is for me, given the current, you know, the composition of this one. But good call out, brother. Gonna keep my eye out on it. But I really want to execute on ENTA over here because it's continuing to give us higher highs and higher lows. 1275 high, 1257 high, excuse me, comes back into 12, trying to hold 12 right now, but it's got a monster topping tail on the 5 minute, right? 1257, and it ended up closing right at 12. In fact, it closed right at 12, so we know for certain that resistance is going to be that $12 area, whether or not we were above it or below it currently. We know that $12 is being targeted here by the sellers or the short sellers or profit takers as a level because we made a move into 57 and then we end up closing right at 12. So this one could be a bit of a downturn here, actually. Yes, and there it goes, making the first 5 minute candle to make a new low in a long time. I'm talking about ENTA losing a bid here. Right off that 1257 into 1175 it goes. So some weakness stepping into this one for the first time, I would say, in a while. Now, ENTA has been insanely respectful of the 10 EMA on the 5. Currently, that 10 EMA is at 11.25. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to front run it. I'm going 1133 for a long. I'm just going to try to ride trend. If it ends up holding up at that level, fantastic. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I can only try to put the odds on my side. So we're going to keep tabs on this one as well as the new one that Bovin showed us, ANGX. Keeping an eye out on that. For now, we're going to Adara.
Just keep an eye here in the market. I might have some positive news here with regards to the government shutdown. We do have Senate, according to a Bloomberg reporter on X, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is saying that the GOP, the Republican Party, quote, felt the heat and agreed to talk. So there could be some resolution to this government shutdown. Again, this is just a report. If they get more details, I'll let you know. Now, why is this significant to the market? Because among other reasons, we do have the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They've said they're not going to release their NFP data or any other data if the government does go into shutdown. So that could be significant either way. Just keep an eye on this. Looks like evolving talks here with regards to the potential shutdown. Back to you.
Yeah. I got
Joey freaking options.
Let's go, yo. Look
We're doing it live,
We're doing it live,
as we
man.
speak.
That's great. Yo, Mike P, check that. Check, we cooked the bird on Friday, brother, right off the queue as well. Check that one out there.
Look at this guy,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah, the whole bird too. Yeah, here, maybe can we see it better over here? Yeah, we cooked the whole bird on Saturday there, Mike P. And boy, oh boy, was that nice and tender and juicy, man. I love that. I don't know what it's been. Lately, the chicken here, we've had it a couple times here for lunch. The chicken was chewy. We've been buying it. Chicken's been chewy. I don't know what's that. So I'm like, you know what?
In the market as well?
Yeah.
What the hell?
At Farm Boy it was chewy. At Metro it was chewy. We had a chewy chicken here from... for lunch one time, and I'm like, you know what? I'm sick of this chicken. It's so really chewy, as I mentioned much of these times. So I bought the whole bird, and then we just threw the bird on the barbecue right there. So yeah, boom. We're going to get stopped out of this TQ here momentarily. Let's see what's going on. As soon as that 5-minute candle opens up past this low, then we're just going to hop out of this trade and take the 50-cent loss that's probably going to happen.
Assassino, can we go to the two-shot?
Soon. What do you got there?
That's this is a messy free kick over here. This is BMO Field. And like, look at the go. Look at the go, bro. I don't know if you guys can see that there,
That's
bro.
why it was nuts there.
Bro, you should have seen the crowd go buck wild when he was on the dead ball, because he's right outside the box. So everyone, he's gonna score. He's gonna score. It's like everybody pulled their phone out. Messi on a dead ball.
That's
right.
Crazy.
Anyway,
it
was great. And there was some heavy hitters there, man. Luis Suarez, Jordi Alba, Sergio Busquets, Rodrigo de Paul, like some of the bigger names in past years, of course, of European football, now kind of making the rounds in the MLS. And I'm okay with that, man, because I want to see these guys. I never got to see them in their heyday in Barca, so it was nice to see that. And it's so funny, man. Messi just brings all his old friends from Barcelona. He's like, hey, come to Miami, let's play soccer here. And then they dominate, so it's kind of funny.
They win. All right, guys, we're all out of this on this TQ's trade, guys, as the market looks like it wants to establish a new low of the day, and a lot of the big names are starting to come back in. But that's sick, Sharif. I would like to see either Cristiano or Lionel Messi.
Yeah, you got to go to Saudi for that.
Yeah, you got to go to Saudi.
You got to pay big money for that.
Not the old MLS here.
You got to stay at Ram's place.
Ooh.
Yeah. Shout out to Saudi. All right. Look, man, I don't know what to do here. I got to tell you the truth. Because ANGX, it's not setting up in the way that I'd like. I put a dip trade on ENTA, which I think is now wrong, because I have it at 11 1/3, and I think the 10 EMA on the 5 is showing me like right at 11.30, so I may not get the fill. On this one, I'm going to have to move it up. It looks like there's a $0.50 buyer here on ENTA, but that's not the move. The move was to get into the 10 EMA, so I will be a little bit stubborn. Now, if we make a first 5-minute candle to make a new high and defend that 11.5, I think I'll punch in there. But BKKT is making another move, though. So maybe we can have a look at that one as well. That one looks like it might be headed to the high side here. Not on the Nasdaq, on the NY. No, BKKT. Come on, don't embarrass me. Nice. No. I want it. There we go. We're good to go now. All right, you know what? I'm gonna have to give this to prior bar low. So we're gonna go long here, BKKT, and I'm gonna give it to prior bar low. Prior bar low on BK is 72. So it's showing 95s now. I will have to give it to 72. Because if it holds trend, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Then we'll have to get out. So here we are. So we're gonna go 20, 25, 72. We're gonna try it, give this one possibly a little bit more room. What are you laughing at?
Because Juan says, my chicken looks like a frog, buddy.
Why?
I don't know why. That's funny.
I don't know what that means, but yeah. Seems mean.
What?
Do you bet?
Frog. Have you ever had frog legs?
I actually haven't.
No, me neither.
I don't have an aversion to that. Like, I realize that there's a good amount of protein in those, and they're delicacies in somewhere in the world, so I don't have a problem with that.
Them,
But I've had alligator. I know that's not the same. They're kind of swampy, both of them.
Yeah, I've
a little bit. What did you think about alligator?
It was all right. Like, again, everybody just, it tastes like chicken. It tastes like
a little bit.
It did. It had
has
a little
bit of a swamp taste to it,
Yeah,
though,
it did.
which I don't.
I don't know if I would ever get it again, to be honest.
Gator?
Yeah.
Can I say something to you? I had it fried.
Oh, did you?
So
I had it
I
on
think
a skewer.
Yeah, so I think maybe I get it without being fried, because I think that changed the taste.
Maybe
a little bit, right?
Maybe a little bit there, yeah.
I don't know. Alligators taste better than tilapia, says Roger. And maybe the tilapia that we got. Nah, man, I'm gonna hate that. I'm not gonna hate on that. I don't actually mind the tilapia that we get. I know some of the boys here, they're not fans. I respect that, but I don't mind it too much. All right, what else we got over here? Yeah, the Cantina Man. Cantina Man is not a fan of the tilapia. I respect that. A tilapia? Oh, yeah. Well, I can believe that. Neil can't believe that I ate it and liked it. Yeah, I get that. I mean, I know some people that are just, it's not their thing. It's not their thing. I respect that. Shout out to Ozen. I also had alligator in Indonesia. I don't think you had alligator in Indonesia, brother. I think you may have had crocodile. Is alligator only native to North America? Am I wrong on that? Because I know we have both. We have gators and croc. You have gators as well in Brazil? Alligators.
I thought those were like I thought those were the caiman. Yeah.
I thought Brazil had caimans. I don't know, bro. I thought I understood.
Hey, but Brazil has hippopotamus or no Colombia.
Capybara.
No hippopotamus.
They don't have hippos, bro.
Brother, listen, you didn't let me finish the story. No, in Colombia. Why? Because when Pablo brought them over, he had the pets, and then they were actually breeding over in Colombia. Yeah.
They're feral?
Yeah, but
that's
like they're
crazy.
so they're still existing.
No way.
For anybody who can check that from Pablo.
No, but like there's like Sumatran rhinos. So there's like African, animals that we typically associate with Africa that are found in Asia as well, right? So I just figured that might have been something like that, but clearly not. Joey options, you know what? We took the BKKT, we took it. And we're actually showing 25 over here on the ask, but we're not getting printed as a result of the prohibitive spread. So we're gonna have to wet the beak a little bit lower. We'll take that one there. We'll wait to 25, clears as a level. Earlier it was 2607. That was a bit of a level, now it's 2605. Let's see if we can shake that 25 penny seller on BKKT, and there he goes. Up into 30. Now we're waiting here in the mid 40s for another print on my friend BKKT. We'll see if this one ends up being my friend or not. But it's a nice breakout. Looking for continuation here on BKKT. Looking for continuation. And here comes 40 showing up, Joey. 48. Boom! Into the high. Let's set up now at 69. But Joey, we got to tell them about something.
All right, guys. Let's see what we got going on. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., yet there is still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Origenics OGen is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach around $8.9 billion by the end of 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. Get that brain checked out, guys. That stuff is not fun. Origenics, you only get one, and it's not good. If anybody is interested, for all my riders, I know you're a rider there. Our good guy Mike Peter Ryder, check out the documentary, The Crash Reel. Not good stuff. You don't want that to happen to you.
You don't want that to happen.
No, but anyways, Shreve, you have anything else there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, my friend.
BKKT is really going here, guys. We've taken out the high of the day now. We've got 7s on, and we're showing 68s. So this could easily be a 27 touch and drop. You never really know where this is going to go. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to front run 27 given the spread. So I'm putting my order out at 26.97. We're looking to front run that whole dollar by a couple of shekels, but anything below $26 ends this trade for me. We're moving up the stop. That means we're going to risk 7 pennies on the last out. We only have one beak wetter here, but I just got into ENTA as I see it, as on the position board. So we're long at 33s for the move into the 10 EMA, and it's going to have to hold up here. So we're putting some orders at 45, and then we're going to put some orders north of 50, and then the situation is going to be as follows. If it loses 20 pennies, it's all over. So, oh, wow, it's going to lose it pretty quick. So that sucks. Hey, it is what it is, man. So we're going to put that order there, and if it drops any more, we're going to get stopped out, as it will have lost the 10 EMA. You win some, you lose some, and we just got stopped out immediately, Joey.
All right, there, guys. Dan the man, don't think I forgot about you, because I have not, my friend.
Get it,
all right, because you know what? People don't forget. Anyways, no, it's a good thing, though. Obviously, he asked me a question a long time ago, and I told him we would get to it. But Pathic Sangavi, thank you for the support as always at Joseph. NVDA, Sean, and Mara, big winners today. No, thank you, brother. That's all you, man. You're pressing the keys. Winners done today. I'm done for the day holding Mara calls for the expiration of October 24th. Boom, Sharif. Boom. Let's get it. He says, bang, 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 bang. Good thing we got all out of the Nasdaq. Thank you very much, Pathik, for those super chat. From the minute I sat in this chair, you've been talking about Mara, and you've stuck to your guns, and I'm glad that you're starting to cook up storms there. And then now, as for our good friend Dan the Man. Dan, let's do this, brother, because you've been patiently waiting.
Get it, Dan.
Not 50 Cent patiently waiting, but there it is. Bull flag. He's like, hey, bear flag, Joe, on the Nasdaq. Potentially, right? So you have the initial leg, you have this leg down, and then you have the consolidation, and then guess what? Boom, you're breaking out through some key support levels, 102.50 to the downside. So you nailed that one on the head. Hopefully you were short this overall market. There goes the crypto space. Touching into $65 now, trading around $64.50, and not looking like it's going to get a bounce anytime soon. Market is continuously bleeding. Let's see if Adara's got any news for us.
Not on the market, but I do have news on Shopify and Etsy. Etsy is moving markedly more than Shopify, so we'll pull up that chart here for you guys. ChatGPT announcing that they're introducing instant checkout in ChatGPT in partnership with Etsy and Shopify. They're going to be open sourcing their agentic commerce protocol that powers it, which is built with Stripe. So keep an eye on some of these other payment-related names as well, seeing if they're trading any antipathy with Stripe potentially. But either way, ETSY and SHOP to a much lesser extent on watch here. ChatGPT announcing their instant checkout in partnership with both companies. Back to you.
All right, guys, get ready, because here it comes. Okay, RELI is halted to the upside at $1.09, and you want to know why? This is why. This is what everybody talks about. This is the headline that everybody's been trading to the high side. Reliance announces Bitcoin purchase as part of their digital asset treasury strategy. This is the BMNR, the MSTR, the SBET, the QQQ, the, I don't know, CWD. How many of these names have we been trading recently? Now, the excitement warranted, but we have been noticing that this trade has been fading as of late. We haven't been hitting, those quadruple digits, let alone the triple digits on some of these headlines. But this is one that we need to take seriously because of what these ones have done in the past. Now, it was basically trading at about 90 pennies until this headline hit. The headline came in exactly at 1 o'clock on my blotter, literally to the penny, to the time. At 1 o'clock, it's open, and it's up into 115. Let's load this up on a trading screen now. We got to keep an eye on this. I'm just going to flatten out my BKKT trade, excuse me. Let's load up RELI. I believe is on the NQ. I'm right. So we're going to have to pause the news that we typically start now for a second because we got to keep eyes on this one. 115 high. It's taking out the high. It's a 116 high now. All right, so this could absolutely rock and roll. Let's see if the shorts step in or the longs are going to be stepping in here. Oh, we didn't get in. I wonder if this has something to do with the name. Let's try. Okay, we just got in here for a small amount. I just want to test this. So we're in at 113. Oh no, I don't want that number, Joey. That's not good.
I'm looking at it too here. Brother.
All right, so continuing to watch RELI. I guess maybe we'll just keep an eye on this one for a second. I just want to see if the buyers are stepping in. They're not stepping in with the same vigor that I definitely anticipated with this kind of headline. Let's see if they're stepping in now. 15s, Joey. 17s, Joey. Okay, so it's a 19 penny high. Here we go, zipping and zagging here. 18. Can we see a little bit more? Let's see if we can get above that 19. Maybe we'll add into the position if we get into that 19 penny area a little bit higher. So we're going to have to watch this here. Here comes 18s, 19s showing up again, Joey. It is now 20s. Keep going here, RELI. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher. So this is the big boy headline that we all been talking about, adding digital assets onto your corporate strategy, corporate treasuries, and now it is a 22 penny high. People taking profits, zipping down, back into 18s, now 19s showing up again. So yeah, man, I didn't really want to get into something later because we were going to do the news, but when something like this comes, you got to put some respect on this one's name here, Joey. So we're going to continue to watch this one for a little bit as we zig and zag near area highs. I'm going to add into this position a little bit. Why not? Why not? Let's see. We can take up some over here, maybe into 24s, and then we're going to hold. We're going to hold a little bit. So we've got 17s on now at the ad, initially in at 13. Anything below 10 ends the trade for me. Okay?
All right.
So that's what we're going to do. How are you seeing it? What do you got?
I was in it too. I'm all out of it now for a little scalp. I just felt like diving into your world for a couple of minutes.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, we'll pull it up there. Yeah. We took 5 cents on it just to get involved right after your pull. Waited for that pullback, and then we just hopped in RELI. So yeah, that's what we got going on, man. A nice little scalp ski on this here. We're not going to complain whatsoever. Boom, in right at the 15. Sharif had a better price than I did. He just bought a little bit more. Boom, takes a little bit of a dip, and then we get out at 20s. And yeah, so that was about it. A nice little scalp on this name there, and then we're back into some Bitcoin. That's starting to cook up there. Indecision print, 5-minute candle just above the volume weighted average price. So let's see if this starts to work out for us. So far it is. We'll take it. 57s. We're almost 10 cents right there on this name, so we'll take it. We'll go 2 for 2 on one. I don't want to count my my blessings too early here, guys. But if it does start to work, we like that. NVDA putting up an additional hammer candle there. Gorev, Los Pollos, and Jag for a potential bounce back towards the volume weighted average price. So let's keep an eye out on that one. But right now, it's RELI and IBIT. Those are something that we want to keep a focus on. Now, I find it so interesting with these treasury. These things were coming out like there was no tomorrow. Like they're going out of style and out of fashion really, really quick. And then the underlying assets themselves, the holdings that they're looking to implement, put on the balance sheet, they weren't even moving. As a matter of fact, they were selling off at some time. So I'm curious to see what's going on with this Bitcoin space. Is this going to be the pullback that we needed to go and test those all-time highs? And the same with the likes of Ethereum. We were down 22% off of the high. We go from 4,900 all the way down to 3,800. That's a hefty haircut. But at the end of the day, patience, patience, patience. Own it. Don't trade it.
Oh, I like that. All right, watching here on RELI. We changed trend a little bit, looking for continuation. 21s, we got the fill.
Oh, there it goes,
at
Steve.
21s. It's still a 22 high of day, so watch out for the bamboozlement. I got to tell you, Joey, this doesn't feel right.
It doesn't.
No, because we've seen what this has done before.
The rejection of that high too. That was an aggressive rejection.
Yeah, I got to tell you, this doesn't feel right. This is a breakout or bailout situation for me, okay? It's going to have to go. Otherwise, I want nothing to do with it. The headline is the catalyst. We've seen this headline cause ruckus before. The fact that it's not causing ruckus right now is a bit of a tell for me. I'm flattening out here. I know it's at highs, but I just want to do the news and I don't have to deal with this. And it doesn't feel right. The fact that that catalyst comes in, the volume is there, about 5.25 million shares, and we're not rocketing up. So maybe it goes, maybe it doesn't. But that did feel weird, Joey, because, quite frankly, QMMM, CWD, what was the other one? Octo, OCTO, BMNR, SBET, MNR. SBET, Adara. Everybody remembers SBET. That's the ETH one. And that's what I want to flatten out for. It's a breakout or bailout situation. And the fact of the matter is, it didn't feel right, man. It did not feel right. And there it goes, Joey. So I'm quite happy with the flattening out there. Let's start the news.
All right, let's fire it up. Whoa. Actually, let's fire it up. We're going to fire the news up here, but we're also going to keep an eye out what we got going on here with IBIT. Nice little move right there. So let's trim a little bit here. Ooh, do we trim a little bit more? I think so, because we didn't take anything off, man. That was really, really small potatoes, 5%. We're going to take another 15% off, right?
Okay.
Just because, right? So bang, there it is, filled on that one, exact same price. We're not going to complain about that. Nice little pop ski on IBIT.
What my dad says this word?
Which one?
Cannabis.
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 Cannabis
He's
store.
Such an immigrant.
Cannabis.
So good.
Cannabis store. Yeah.
Oh man, my old man makes me chuckle, bro.
Hangry wife, having a horrible day, but I appreciate you guys. Hey, just come here, sit and relax. We've all had those. Have we ever? Watch out. Was that the tax filings there, Katina, man?
No, but Katina man's got new tax filings.
Yeah. No.
They haven't gone back.
Apparently, they hired a ton of more advisors, Katina, man.
I filed mine in April. It's now September.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Katina man is displeased at the moment.
Give this man his money. I mean, he was working on them for a while.
Guy with name.
Bro, yeah, I would see him pull his tax sheet over, look at it, do the things, put it back, and then the next day go back. Anyways, all fun and games. I know you got something. Boom, we'll take some more off at 64.75 there, Shreve. Let's hop right into this.
Yes, sir. So, as my old man would say, cannabis stocks are surging after Trump comments. No, seriously, let's talk about this. So President Donald Trump highlighted the potential for healthcare benefits of hemp-derived cannabinoids for seniors, framing it kind of as a possible alternative to prescription drugs, very much in line with what the administration has been doing as of late. He reiterated plans to reclassify marijuana, which could ease, obviously, the criminal penalties as well as reduce those regulatory burdens. Comments were made on Truth Social and immediately sparked pre-market rallies in cannabis stocks, obviously. You had the likes of Canopy Growth, CGC, Tilray. They were all up over 20%. As I see it, Tilray's up 35. Aurora Cannabis is up 21. The MSOS and MSOX, the leveraged and regular ETF, are on for their biggest quarterly gains ever. MSOS, at the time of writing of this article, was up 70% on the quarter. The analyst, though, noted, Joey, that Trump's remarks could provide the long-awaited relief for the sector that's been battered by losses as well as weak sentiment. But it's not just the rescheduling of the drug, Joey. This actually has business implications for the weed names. What do I mean by that? So, the Trump administration is looking at moving it from a Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. The reclassification here would remove harsh tax burdens that are under Section 2080E, allowing cannabis companies to basically deduct business expenses, whereas they couldn't before. Also, potential tax reform could pave the way for more U.S. listings as it becomes more profitable, which is going to increase, obviously, the institutional investor participation, and it makes it broader sector legitimacy. During President Donald Trump's first term, the Agriculture Improvement Act eased restrictions on hemp and CBD, but didn't go as far as reclassifying. And then we know under the former President Biden's administration, he already had directed federal agencies to reclassify it from Schedule 1 to 3. And then President Donald Trump's latest comments, Joey, renew the momentum, though he emphasized it's not legalization, but rather easing of the burdens on companies.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the way to go, right? I just find it so weird that America wants to be the leader. Sorry, yeah, so I just find it so weird that America wants to be the leader in so many different sectors and areas except for cannabis, in which they can probably just dominate the space with the likes of Miami, or Florida, and then you have the California as well, too. And I just find it extremely odd. And we had a massive boom here from an actual equity standpoint from publicly traded stocks here in Canada in 2015, 2016. Oh, yeah. They just went absolutely skyrocketed as soon as we had that previous guy who was in office was like, hey, yeah, we're going to legalize this stuff. What happened? Boom. It was literally an emerging sector. It was fantastic. And I'm really, really surprised that the states haven't had that same outlook, considering the fact it's like, hey, yeah, cryptocurrency, half the people still believe this stuff is a scam. But at the end of the day, no, we don't want any part of this whatsoever. And I find it slightly interesting. But if it is the case, your Tilrays and all your other American publicly traded weed companies are going to go absolutely insane. This is a step in the right direction. Will it ever be legalized in the United States? I thought that the previous administration would do that. Wasn't the case. I highly doubt that the Republicans are going to legalize it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it really fills their moat. Obviously, guys, we're talking about federal legalization. Yeah. We know on a state-by-state basis.
It's different.
New York, California, they all have legalization movements.
Some other, I don't know if I don't think Florida does.
I don't know if Florida does, but we know Colorado does. They were the OG. I'm pretty sure Washington Illinois, I don't know about Illinois, to be quite honest with you.
It's you can use it recreationally.
Chicago?
There, yeah.
So you know.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
All right, Adara. I mean, look, this is not new. We heard this under the previous Biden administration, reclassifying from Schedule 1 to 3. What was new to me, I don't know if it was new to you, was this actually affected how they take business profits, Adira. They couldn't actually deduct expenses because of the categorization. This changes that.
Yeah, that's interesting. That could be a big boon for these businesses. The other thing, too, is this report was already kind of, I don't want to say negated because we weren't moving on a report today anyway. We were moving on Trump's interesting little truth video that he posted. It was like an animated person and like stuff moving through their body to show the effects of this on seniors. It was, you can check it out for yourself. It's about 3 minutes long on X, or not on X, at Truth Social.
Of course.
Donald Trump. But to get back to this, like Sharif, I mentioned this right after Neil's lesson of the day, but there's another catalyst on this now suggesting they're actually going to be delaying the rescheduling here until January of 26. I wonder if they just kind of keep pushing this back and then we wait and see if we actually get anything new here with regards to the rescheduling. I think it's a little bit dire, and I also have a hard time, I guess, making the connection between Trump posting this video and a sign that we're getting imminent rescheduling. I think it is just one of many videos that was posted over the weekend, and that's honestly my take on that.
I'm trying to find the video as you speak,
weird.
but yeah, there's a lot of truth, Sadira, in the last 24 hours. So
I'll send it to you, Sharif.
I appreciate it, Dare. Thank you. Go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, Arizona, Nevada as well too. You go down to Vegas, you can get that stuff. But someone's saying, so legal, but you still, no, someone said who wants to pay taxes and crazy dispensary price? It's actually cheaper.
Okay, so look, I can only speak for what the situation was here. I don't know how it's going to unfold there, but let me tell you something. There's been a race to the bottom in this country when it comes to cannabis pricing, okay? It started off a lot higher when we got initial legalization in 18, Joey. And literally year over year, prices are coming down. Quantities going up, prices are coming down, strength is going up. It's a bad business to be in. We always joke because the margins are compressing. I don't know if that ends up happening south of the border, but that's what's happening here.
I'm assuming it will. Like, if that is the case, it will most definitely happen. Because if it's happening here, it's probably going to happen there. And then that's what happens when you own the likes of the Aurora Cannabises and the Afrias,
Just gotta take shots,
and the Canopy Growth Corps, right? So.
All right, let's go on to the next story over here, guys. Apple's AI strategy. They've got new hardware, iPhone 17 update. So let's just cut the crap, okay? Let's talk about the Siri overhaul that we're all been waiting for. It's called Project Linwood, and it's supposed to be a revamped Siri, and it's expected to debut March of 2026. That's obviously a loose headline given Apple's very, very checkered past when it comes to AI. It's going to have web search capabilities, also going to have voice-controlled iPhone navigation, as well as on-device and on-screen data integration. And there's a different one. There's Veritas. It's a chatbot essentially, and it shows Siri's next-gen infrastructure that's already supporting that sort of chat-style interactions. It's also going to have photo edits as well as a personal data search. So we'll see how those two come together. But there's also upcoming hardware releases. We're talking about the M5 MacBook now, as well as new MacBook Airs, as well as new Mac monitors. Now, the MacBook and the MacBook Airs, certainly more important products for me than the Mac monitors. We're expected the release of these products in late 25 or Q1 of 26. There's going to be other devices as well. A new iPad Pro and a new Vision Pro. I don't know, man. It better not be that shoebox on the face again. I need to see a smaller form factor. Show me you're making progress, Apple. That's my thinking. As well as a cheaper version of the iPhone 17, the iPhone 17e. It's going to be redesigned to better differentiate it and from the standard iPhone 17 models, as well, Joey, as an iPad Air and a low-end iPad. A lot of new product releases apparently in the pipeline here. Just kind of, talk about the gorilla in the room. The iPhone 17 Pro is being spoken about right now as one of Apple's biggest launches ever. And the demand times for the Pro and the Pro Max is the most out of the bunch. And that pleases me greatly as an Apple shareholder, because those are the highest margin iPhones. The Pro and the Pro Max, especially when you get up to the 1 terabyte and the 2 terabyte formats of that phone, that's big boy margins on those. And so I gotta tell you, Joey, as a shareholder, when I read this kind of stuff about the demand about the iPhone, forget about all the new product launches.
Yeah.
It pleases me.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I agree with that. It's very interesting too, though, is when you ask Siri something, it asks you if it wants it to ask ChatGPT as well too. I think that Siri, with if they come up with this big time update, it has the potential to be the best, I guess, agent bot there is on the phone. I'm really curious to see what we got going on with that. Super Cycle-esque, who knows? Maybe they're starting to, undershoot the potential growth cycle within these iPhone 17s because the reviews are great. Marquez loves it, so when he likes something, that's usually something positive as well, too. He loves the thin. He said he wouldn't own it, though, because just due to the camera quality and everything.
Have you seen the review on the Pro Max?
Yeah.
Or the Pro, sorry, not the Pro Max.
The one that he did drop, he loves it. Yeah, he likes it a lot. Yeah, he likes it a lot, just from the camera and everything along those lines, because that's what he's using. But I mean, as for what Apple's got in the pipeline, I think it's really, really positive. And if it comes in double-digit growth on iPhone sales, just watch out for this stock to just go insane and establish a new all-time high. We're not far off of earnings seasons, guys. I'm pretty sure let's actually pull it up here. Adara would have, when do the big banks start reporting? And I'm assuming it's not too far from now. Let's pull it up and see when the JPMs and the BlackRocks really start to get rolling. We have, sorry to kind of digress there, Street, but we're going to see something. After close, we have Nike. We're keeping an eye out on that one. And then as for next week, guys, nope, nothing for that one. Oops. Nope. Okay, maybe we don't have the schedule that far ahead. So anyways, aside from that, we're not too far off of earnings seasons. We're going to get Tesla deliveries this week as well, too. Lots coming up. Yeah, and I'm really curious to see how that report comes in and the double-digit growth within these iPhone sales.
Yeah, it's a really good point, Joey. We're going to have to see exactly what the numbers are, rather than, try to figure it out through pipelines.
Exactly.
Great.
Through the grapevine, through the
All right, Adara, a lot of new product launches, possibly for late 25, early 26. What do you make of this whole thing? Include, obviously Veritas and everything else.
Well, how could you launch so many of these at the same time? There's just so much down the pipeline, right? So I really want to see, I guess, all of these products be as good as they possibly can be, and I'm not sure if you can necessarily achieve that when you're launching so many at the same time. Now, the one thing that you can argue that I hope is true is that because you have different teams working on different things, all of these products are going to be exactly on time as we're expecting. AI will not be slow. AI will be perfect. Apple Intelligence will be intelligent. But I mean, we're going to have to wait and see what actually happens here. Project Linwood, I'm always curious as to how they name these things. But the other thing here with their revamped Siri, and I don't know if it was mentioned here, but was, I think, pretty interesting, was we had this report on Friday or Thursday, it was late last week, suggesting that Apple's actually built an in-house model similar to ChatGPT to test its new AI Siri, but they're not going to release it to the public. So that is interesting to me. I wonder if there's a way you can monetize that down the line, but either way, the fact that sounds like they're already testing this AI Siri makes me very excited about Project Linwood. Now we'll have to find out if this Linwood pushed the price of Apple high. That's going to have to be a question. But I think of all of these, Sharif, I am most excited for some kind of resolution on Apple Intelligence because it has been a year and a half, almost.
I agree 100% with that. Show me the Apple Intelligence. Joey, I'd like to be able to tell the phone, hey, Joey texted me yesterday. Give me the number that he threw in the message.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is that so hard, bro?
Why is it so complicated?
Like, you know what I mean? Let's get a move on, Joey.
It shouldn't be that complicated.
Or like if I say, for example, like, hey, back, I don't know, like just as a voice instruction, Joey, I don't have to go into my camera app. Or, sorry, the camera app. Or the Photos app is what I mean. So, for example, I'll be like, hey, I went on, on vacation in July. There was a picture where it had this in the background. Go find it. You know what I mean? Bring it up because I want to send that picture to you, for example. Like, there has to be very easy stuff to do like that. Also, I want to see on-device or screen presence. What do I mean by that? It has to understand what I'm looking at on the screen, so it can give me suggestions for actions to take.
Like
whether I'm
like the Google
somebody.
phone, like the Google phone, right?
I need basic stuff that we've been used to the last few years.
That's what I want, brother, and that's what I'm looking for. I just want to be like, hey, I want to be able to go on my phone, give it the permissions required, and be like, hey, e-transfer Sharif X amount of money.
That's it.
Boom. That's
I don't want to have to make it complicated.
right? And just hit yes. You pull up the thing and then yes, boom, send it off, right? I mean, they're coming out with that in the Apple, but I want to just be like voice note, hey, send this off, do this without it being like with everything all being skewed and messed up. I mean, are we kind of, is this hopeful thinking, wishful thinking? Maybe, possibly, but I think it's completely achievable with a Gentacy company.
I do, and I see you guys in the chat, but like you guys, the Google Pixel Pro already has it. I know that they have versions of that stuff, but I just feel that Apple and Google take a bit of a different take about the technology that they launch. I feel Google is willing to put their neck out there, Joey.
For sure.
And if things are glitchy, they're willing to be glitchy and then to kind of try to work and perfect it. Whereas Apple, they're not accepting of glitches. It's got to be perfect from day one, typically.
26 is pretty glitchy, though. I don't know if you found it so far.
Okay, so yes. Like, for example, sometimes it'll freeze, so I'll have to shut the camera, and then it'll... And
I told you I couldn't open it. It's a software thing, right? It's definitely software. And remember, I told you I couldn't open my settings. I can open the settings and access the Bluetooth because there's some glitch going on. And sometimes in the music as well too, you'll see a little bit of glitching.
Too much of that, but I have had my occasional where it hasn't responded. So I just hit the side button and
goes. But as for Google, so before we hopped in, Google, interesting. Some volume stepped in. Like this is quite a bit, right? So this is almost as much as that opening drive, and then now we have this hammer candle being printed. So that's something genuine going on. Volume stepping in, and it's also kind of being sustained there as well. So here's maybe I don't know, Adair, did you bring anything to us for news on Google? Because that's pretty intriguing in my opinion.
All right, we'll go to Adair in a second.
Oh, someone did. Sorry, Sharif. Someone told me that someone bought 1,000 contracts at 255. At 255.
No news that I'm seeing.
Okay, cool. Give me 30 seconds here. We're going to look at the 255 strike price just to see what we got going on Google. I forget the expiration. It was later, but yeah, nothing substantial going on right now. Options activity relatively cool. 250, you have 15,100 contracts traded, and then 11,400 still currently open at 250, guys.
All right, let's go on to the next story. Tesla pushes EV tax credit deadline as the IRS updates its rules on the EV tax credit. So let's get to it. So Tesla reminded their North American buyers, potential customers, to lock in the purchase before the 30th of September, which is tomorrow, to qualify, for that $7,500 federal EV tax credit. The company posted on X, stressing that only 2 days remain to secure the credit. The urgency ties obviously into Tesla's Q3 delivery numbers, which analysts are already gauging is going to be higher than expectations as a result of the pull forward of purchases ahead of the cancellation of this tax credit. So what do I mean by the IRS adjusting the rules? So here's what happened. The IRS now is going to allow customers to still qualify for that EV tax credit, even if the delivery of the car comes after the 30th of September, as long as a nominal payment is received before the 30th. So, for example, a small down payment. Nominal legally means $1 and above, but I don't know what the exact condition is by the IRS here. So Tesla aligned its policy with this update, noting that vehicles scheduled for a later delivery still need a binding purchase agreement by tomorrow to qualify. Your friend Gavin Newsom there, Joey, there had been talks about California moving forward with their own kind of bespoke EV incentives after the federal cancellation of the $7,500. Instead, they're not going to go down that right, California is. In fact, they're going to look instead, I should say, to upgrade the EV charging infrastructure across the state rather than, Joey, throwing money back in people's pockets and spurring purchase of EVs.
Yeah, no, I like that point too, Sharif. And earlier in the summer, at one point, EV registrations in California, Tesla registrations were down like 25%, 30%. 10%.
It looked like
so,
Europe.
Yeah, it looked like Europe. Yeah, it was not a good look. Obviously, brand damage as well too, and his restaurant obviously not picking up any of that slack. Being sarcastic on that one. No, but as for what's going on with the tax credits, we know China's stimulating the economy as well too. So you're going to see that uptick in sales over there, and we're curious to see the deliveries. I think that's going to be a big time print. Elon buying back stock. We got the deliveries coming out later in the week, and then the EV tax credit is going to be discontinued relatively shortly. But I mean, at the end of the day, we know we're going to stay forward-looking with Tesla. And I was listening to interesting things on the on Uber and Tesla, how that Elon might potentially partner up with Uber. 1,000 car fleet, right? Because they have the client base, and he was just going on about how Tesla's a little bit harder on the software, easier on the hardware, and then the likes of Waymo being easier on the software, harder on the hardware. Yeah, right? Why? Because what LiDAR does, it looks at things that are permanent and things that are continuously on the move, and they map it out, opposed to the camera system
which is trying to observe.
Is constantly observing. But the one thing with the LiDAR is, if this is never going to move, like say it's a median, a curb, or something, it will register it, it will map it. I think it's called like the HD map or something like that, and it eliminates pedestrians that are continuously walking in.
So it puts that in the memory bank?
Puts it in the memory bank, locks it in, and then that's why I believe some obviously the Ministry of Transportation, whatever it is over in the States, is favoring the LiDAR.
That's fair. Well, it's just like that extra security feature. If you're a regulator, you want more security for a newer technology. I completely get that.
I found it really interesting on what they were talking about.
A lot of people have been crapping on Tesla's camera-only system for years now. Like in this jurisdiction, let's call a spade a spade. Joey, December, I want to say maybe second or third half of, third week of December onward to maybe early March. We're going to have snow up the yin-yang here. So you're going to have snow. You're going to have a lot of salt that's coming with that, and we throw sand with that salt as well. All those cameras get blocked up, Joey. So unless there's a mechanical arm clearing those cameras at all times, can you say it's a 100% uptime in this kind of area, in New York, Chicago, Montreal? You know what I mean?
And any form of heating sensor won't be enough because it just gets caked on. It gets caked on, and we already know people here don't even wipe the snow off of their vehicles. So
that's another great thing of driving in truck. Adira, so look, we know that tomorrow's the last day for the $7,500. We also know that analysts are expecting a higher than normal Q3 deliveries as a result of the ending of the $7,500. Do we drop big in Q4, and how do you view this whole thing?
I mean, I think, honestly, you guys know what I'm like. I always like to wait and see. I think one thing I will say, even if we do drop in Q4, I think this is really only a short-term headwind. Now, why do I say that? Because people were buying Teslas and EVs prior to the tax credit. So I looked this up. When was this implemented? We haven't even had it for 3-4 years. It was implemented on January 1st, shout out to January 1st, 2023. So we've not even had this for 3 years. Teslas were still being purchased before then. I think, honestly, this is going to be more of an issue for non-Tesla EVs. Sorry to Rivian. Sorry to, the Lucids of the world, maybe the Polestars of the world. The Polestars seem to be pretty up and coming. But the point I'm trying to make is I think that this is less of a Tesla headwind and more of an everybody else headwind, especially given that Tesla is increasingly defining itself as much more than purely an automotive company. So that is my take on that. Also, it sounds like this press conference with Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu is beginning. I'm hearing audio. People are taking photos. If I get updates on that, I will let you know. But yeah, either way, TSLA, I think, sure, honestly, with Q3 deliveries too, I don't know if these are going to be as exciting as everyone wants them to be, because even people with optimistic kind of estimates, even this morning benchmark, their estimate is still below the average, but they said, well, it'll be better than Q3 or Q2 because it's kind of hard to be worse than Q2. So I don't know. I think deliveries will have to wait and see. I do think, though, Tesla will be able to shake this off, no problem.
Yeah, I'm hoping so as a shareholder. Thank you, Adira. Let's go on to talk about, the one that we all saw this morning. EA Sports. Ooh. It's in the game.
You know what
I mean,
EA
we all obviously
what,
grew up. If you're a dude, you probably
know what EA stands for?
Electronic Arts.
Okay, I didn't know that for a long time.
Come on now.
Yeah, I played the game, man.
Can I say
every
Need
NHL
for Speed
game.
used to be under Electronic Arts, but it wasn't under EA Sports. So I played NSF obviously as a kid, so that's the only reason I knew it. Because they had the two labels. They had EA Sports
NSF.
and EA. Go ahead.
NSF
Joe.
is crazy. New traders, listen up first month. Free, that's right. We're waiving fees, trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite, analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading?
Yes.
Scan the QR code. Check the link in the description.
I like it. Joey Options, let's talk about this. So EA is in advanced talks to go private with around a $50 billion valuation. Let's talk about this in more detail. It's advanced talks, not just talks, but advanced talks. The investor groups here include Silver Lake, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, which we know they've got money. We got Jared Kushner's Affinity Partners, obviously President Donald Trump's son-in-law. If completed, this would mark the largest leveraged buyout in the history of history. LBO, leveraged buyout, not just buyout. It could be announced as soon as next week, according to sources. We'll have to wait and see. Current market cap for EA, at least at the time of the writing of this article, was $42 billion. As such, that would imply about a 19% upside from that close. And we know that the gaming industry faces a bit of pressure. The industry is facing soaring development costs as well as fierce competition, weaker consumer discretionary spending as well, especially on gaming. So EA is forecasting quarterly net bookings below Wall Street's expectations in July, highlighting, those shorter-term challenges for the company and the industry as a whole. The company is banking on Battlefield 6. No idea, which is expected this fiscal year to compete head-on with Call of Duty. Your boy Joey Options could probably tell you more about that. But we know in general, the large cap M&A, mergers and acquisitions, is certainly rebounding in 2025 after the wrath of Lina Khan came to an end earlier this year. Falling interest rates as well, expectations, as well as it makes it cheaper capital, can make the mega deals more attractive with those rates dropping. And some of the key players of the deal, as I mentioned, Silver Lake, they're one of the biggest tech-focused PE firms. They recently acquired a majority stake in Intel's Altera for almost $4.5 billion. You have obviously the Saudi Public Investment Fund expanding as a part of its Vision 2030. We know MBS spinning up a storm over there, and they also want to obviously diversify beyond oil into gaming and sports, and we've been seeing them do that through Riyadh season and Turkey El Sheikh. Anybody who watches boxing or UFC knows exactly about that. And then Affinity Partners, Joey. It's a Kushner-founded investment group backed by Saudi, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. Obviously, Kushner is Ivanka Trump's husband, and that would make him obviously Donald Trump's son-in-law.
Son-in-law there, yeah. I mean, as for Electronic Arts, technical, it looks pretty good. But we remember the Activision Blizzard acquisition from Microsoft,
Yes,
I
sir.
believe it was.
60 some odd billion.
Yeah, exactly. But it was continuously being blocked in the EU. I think the EU.
England and the EU.
Yeah, they didn't. For some reason, they didn't want that to go down. So shout out to Activision. But guys, there's some big games coming out. Shreve mentioned it. Battlefield 6. I know for all the kind of the first-person combat sports, you like this one, but you can't go wrong in EA right now, anyways. So as of last year, earlier in the year, January of 25, you get that pop-up, 75% return, nice steady appreciation. The pullbacks haven't been drastic. You do get some sideways PA here for a span of about a year and a half, but other than that, the underlying has been steady appreciating, and we like that. I think going private might be a better play for some of these names, in my opinion. Right? So I'm just like really, for me personally, a lot of it has to do with the smart contracts. Microsoft working with that, Activision, Blizzard, they have the smart contracts for all of their gaming sector. Yep. So whether you're making the audio of it, certain whatever features of it, everybody gets paid out differently. I think it could be positive for this name in the long run.
I like that.
Yeah.
Adira, Affinity Partners is led by, and in fact founded by Jared Kushner, who is Donald Trump's son-in-law. Is there any conflict of interest here?
I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see if it gets approved, right? I think that could be more of an issue. But like this has been confirmed. They did confirm it earlier today, $55 billion. So even more than the already kind of eye-watering $50 billion that we thought we were going to get. I think just from like a trading perspective too, these buyouts are always a little bit more difficult because as you can see in this chart, once it gets announced, the price is just kind of chilling. Now, to be fair, we are decently below, at least comparatively, the $210 price that was named in the deal. Right now, we're trading just around 202. But either way, I mean, I think EA, this is an interesting one. Again, I think with regards to the conflict of interest, to go back to your question, at least like Jared Kushner is much less involved. I don't think he's involved in all this administration compared to his very active involvement in the first admin. Like he was in every department, he was in every room. Get it, Jared. But yeah, I think with that in mind, I think it's a little bit harder to make that argument. We're gonna have to wait and see though if there is anybody who does make that claim, because I'm sure there will be senators or lawmakers. We always see the letters citing a conflict of interest. I think that's kind of across that bridge when you come to it type thing. Let's see if the regulators approve it. I have a feeling that the FTC might approve this.
I agree. All right, let's go on. Intel price target raised amid strategic shift. So, you know, you probably wouldn't look at Intel today and say it caught an upgrade because it's down 3%, probably the worst performing semiconductor microchip name, at least on my lengthy watch list over here. But nonetheless, we're going to talk about it because we don't view the stock from the lens of one day. Deutsche Bank raised their PT on Intel from 23 to 30, but kept the hold rating. They didn't upgrade them. Intel, at the time of writing, was trading at 35.50. It is now 34.40, up 23% again at the time of writing in the past week, and nearly 40% in the last month. Year to date, they're up 71 2/3% year to date. That's Intel. Shares closed to their 52-week highs of 36.30, which was about a 56% gain over the past 6 months. We know the new CEO, Lip Bhutan, is pursuing an aggressive balance sheet re-strengthening supported by equity raises as well as partnerships. We know some recent developments with Intel include the equity raise involving the U.S. government as well as Nvidia. They obviously divested tlry, which we just talked about there, with Kushner's firm taking a holding in that. And they're managing the impacts of tariffs as well as the trade restrictions that are ever evolving at the moment. But analysts are cautioning here that the stock does look a little overvalued relative to what they're calling fair value, with the current rally fueled by catalyst and optimism for IFS. Reports suggest Intel, and we'll get Adira to talk about this in a second, reports at least last week suggested that Intel could be in talks with Taiwan Semiconductor for a possible investment or collaboration. Also in early discussions with Apple, which we heard last week as well. I know some reports have come out since then that have put the kibosh on the Taiwan Semi. I personally haven't heard anything putting the kibosh on the Apple collaboration as of yet, Joey, but Apple rarely will comment about these type of things.
Yeah, until it happens. We probably won't know until it actually happens, right? So, yeah, keep that in mind. As for Intel, guys, this thing, so if you go back to August of 2024, so a little bit over a year ago now, you're just moving sideways for quite some time. Until September, you break out NVDA news, investing multiple billions of dollars within the company, but we still know that they have trouble acquiring customers. Again, they're getting all these investments. Donald Trump now getting a stake in the company as well too. Obviously, the government that is. But one thing to note, with the length of this consolidation, and then obviously the whispers of some of these hyperscalers going to invest some more money within this company, I think that's a positive news. And I'm gonna put in I don't know if it's a hot take, but I'm gonna say that this move is going to be sustained. Consolidation was long, over a year. You break out, the volume is supporting it, and these pullbacks are relatively shallow. So, Tina Man's involved in the 20s, whatever it may be. He's been in for some time, but that breakup all the way to $36, I wouldn't be surprised if we head in towards this next key pivot around $37, Sharif, and even surpass that into the next support level, $41 to $42 on INTC.
I respect that. Adira, multiple different headlines to look at here. You can look at the upgrade. You can look at, obviously, Lip-Bu's aggressive strategy, or the fact that, you know, a lot of these collaborations are super undecided at the moment.
Yeah, I honestly, so Taiwan Semi denied this. I attempted to believe them. Usually when CC Wei, who is their chairman, says they're not involved with the company, they are not involved with the company. He is pretty forthright about that. Again, this is reported by the Taipei Times, so it didn't come from him directly, but they did cite CC Wei, chairman of Taiwan Semi. They said, we're not talking to Intel. And they previously also denied any reports they're talking to Intel. I have the feeling that Taiwan Semi wants to be nowhere in the remote vicinity of Intel. And I have to say, I can't blame them. Now, if anything can change that, I would say it's probably Lip-Bu Tan, because he does, like, I respect his strategy. I respect that he is a matador. He's coming right out the gate like, hey, I want deals with you. I want collaboration with you. And honestly, Sharif and Joe and everybody, he's already won Nvidia over. He has Jensen Huang. So that gives him a lot of cred, I think, in other negotiations.
Yep.
I think the Apple talks are a long shot. I mean, even in these reports, it doesn't even sound like they're anywhere near a deal. They're just in talks. So I'm not sure about that. I think if Taiwan Semi said the talks are not happening, I'm tempted to think either they said heck no, or it was just a rumor. So we'll see here with Apple. I think it's kind of unlikely. Price target increase for this is pretty interesting. I think $30 is a fair price target for Intel. Let's see if they can hold above 30 though, because INTC has an unfortunate history of having these rallies on positive news, but being unable to hold that momentum.
Can I say one thing to you? I don't think it makes sense from a strategic or even financial sense for either Apple or Taiwan Semi to throw their hat into the ring with Intel. Where I do think it makes a little bit of sense, Adara, is the politics. And, that whole thing of making reshoring, especially with last week's tariff announcement about the one-to-one semiconductor imports versus local manufacturing. That's the only way I see this making sense for them. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, my thoughts on that, Sharif, are I agree. I think that's a really good point. But I think both Apple and Taiwan Semi are very known to have already been like buddy-buddy with the Trump admin on that. We had Tim Apple and his weird little golden thing that he gave Trump. We had Taiwan Semi, and they're already investing really, really heavily in the U.S. So with that in mind, these two companies, from a political standpoint, I don't really think the way that Lip-Bu would go about it, I think is strategic enough to maybe realize that. So what I wonder now, Sharif, on your point, because I think it's a really good point, I wonder if he's going to start going after companies that are not going to be in Trump's good graces with this in mind. That, I think, is maybe the better tack. And I think this is the type of man that would realize that and go after that.
I like it. What do you think about that, Joey? Good point, Adara. What do you think about that, Joey? Even though it may not make sense for Taiwan, Taiwan Semi, of course, to want to, do the tango, so to speak, with your friends at Intel. Because let's call a spade, Joey. Yeah. Where's the talent at right now for semiconductor manufacture?
Taiwan.
It's not at Intel, Joey. It's not at Intel.
It's in Taiwan.
It's at Taiwan Semi. Yeah. So what does Taiwan Semi get out of this whole thing? Other than political points.
Exactly, right? It's strategic. You want to obviously remain somewhat strategic, get in Donald Trump's good books. Onshoring, you mentioned investment within America. We even know that obviously the Commerce Secretary, our guy with Howard Lutnick, he's like, hey, giving them a bunch of money? No, you're going to have to invest in America first. And I think that's going to be a good strategic play, especially if they do that with INTC.
Well said, Joey. All right, let's go on to the next one. Morgan Stanley downgrading Wells Fargo. It's not a big story, but I just wanted to mention it because a lot of people have been making a lot about Wells Fargo's asset cap getting removed. And as a result, growth was really going to skyrocket again. Morgan Stanley's got a bit of a different take, so let's talk about this. So they downgraded Wells Fargo from overweight to equal weight, and they also dropped the price target from 95 to 87. The shares of Wells Fargo are still up 21.25% year to date. Here's why Morgan, that is, says everything's already priced in. So Wells 7-year asset cap was lifted. We know why that was placed on them, because their employees were making fake accounts, unsolicited by the customers, obviously. Morgan Stanley previously saw the removal of the asset cap as a major EPS growth catalyst. Now they're saying with it already in and priced in, they see very few near-term drivers left in the stock. And the return on tangible common equity, ROTCE, which is a key profitability metric for the banks, apparently is looking quite flat. Pardon me. Also, rate cuts could hurt Wells Fargo. Let's talk about how they're seen as vulnerable to the possible upcoming rate cutting cycle by the Fed. They see this possibly as hurting their net interest margin through 2026. They also see net interest income. These are very big, metrics for the banks, and we see them when they report. They also see NII, net interest income, now at 1.5% below consensus for 2026 and about 2.5% below consensus for 27. So the lower for longer, not higher for longer now, lower for longer rate environment, according to Morgan Stanley, could weigh on the profitability of Wells Fargo. As a result, they cut the price target there. Joey, I know you were looking at XLF earlier. What's your take?
Yeah, XLF. Hey, listen, I think with these bank stocks, we know our guy Tom Lee said they can go into growth cycles. Wells Fargo are going to become growth stocks, which is absolutely insane. But they're usually slow to adapt in some ways. This downgrade, I don't think it's going to be too hectic, right? You can see it reflecting in the price of the stock today. We're still hovering around those previous all-time highs. We're only about a point or two off of that, a couple points off of that. So not too bad of a look. And then also once they really start, all these American banks start to move everything onto the blockchain, whatever one it may be, it's essentially irrelevant to me. Watch out for some continued growth cycles here in the likes of JPM, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, and some of these big time players, Goldman Sachs as well too. So,
interesting.
Yeah, good looks there. In the bank, I like the bank names, to be honest.
I just want to see if the actual move, number one, if these banks all espouse the move onto the blockchain, first and foremost. And if they do, is it as, accretive as everybody's saying? Is it going to be that big boy tailwind? Yeah.
Is it going to be as efficient? I think so.
No, not just as efficient. We know it's better, Joey, than centralization. That's not the point. The point is, does it make them make more money?
Oh, yeah.
What I mean.
They're going to save it.
We need to see
Think about how much money. Well, think about it. Margin, probably get some margin expansion within that as well, too. But we also know that these guys are extremely slow to adopt
100%.
certain things, right? Like, they're like, you know what? They're in no rush. They'll get there when they get there. But when they do, they'll benefit, I think, immensely from it. So.
Adara, this was an interesting kind of downgrade. It's always funny when a peer downgrades another peer, but that's the way it works.
Yeah, the whole bank on bank violence thing is always funny. I'm like, you guys are in the same sector. But yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of these things, what you have is you've got some kind of major catalyst. The catalyst happens, and then analysts are kind of like, now what? Where do we go from here? And I think on the opposite end of this, we had like in terms of what happened here with Wells Fargo, this was seen as, a positive catalyst. Then it kind of happened, and then Morgan Stanley is like, I mean, With Google, though, what we had that was pretty interesting is we had, of course, to use this example again, the looming of that monopoly or that antitrust ruling, right? What's going to happen? Is the company going to be forced to break up? And a lot of analysts were kind of waiting on that to make decisions. Then we had that. It was so much better than we could have expected. It was probably the best case scenario for Google. And then the stock moves, right? So I think there's a lot of kind of analyst type notes like that. I always find them interesting when it's really like, we had this event, we've given the market a little bit of time to weigh it and see how important it finds it. In this case, I guess Morgan Stanley felt like the way that this Wells Fargo news was reacted to maybe suggests it wasn't as important as we want it to be. And I honestly think if I can get a little bit meta here with you guys, not meta the stock, but meta the concept, it's the same thing with day trading, right? Like you'll get intraday news and sometimes you'll think, oh my gosh, that's got to be a big catalyst. Oh, and then the market does not care. Meanwhile, Nicki Minaj signs up for Roblox and then Roblox stock spikes. This is a real story that I remember from early on in my tenure, right? So it's really interesting how we don't get to choose how the market reacts to things, but as analysts in this case and also as traders, we have to be able to, I guess, go with the tides. And I don't know, I think it's kind of an important point for all of us to remember maybe.
Well said, Adara. Let's go on to the last story as we wind down the show. The Pentagon, so the U.S. defense stocks, at least early on, were rallying on the Pentagon's instruction for missile production push. So let's get right down to it. So the Pentagon is urging its contractors to double or quadruple production of 12 critical missile systems. Included in those missile systems are the Patriot interceptors, the long-range anti-ship missiles, the Standard Missile 6, and precision strike missiles. The initiative comes amid heightened focus on, obviously, a potential conflict with China, God forbid, and the depleted U.S. stockpiles following conflicts, obviously, in both Eastern Europe and Ukraine and the Middle East. Deputy Defense Secretary Steve Feinberg is personally overseeing the progress via the Pentagon's new Munitions Accelerations Council. They've created a special council to re-up their ammunitions, and they're going to be holding weekly calls with defense executives to that end. We saw, a lot of the defense names up big in the pre-market. RTX, Lockheed, Northrop, Boeing, L3 Harris were all up 1% and above. And just to give you an idea of what some of these companies have been doing to achieve these ends, Boeing has completed a 35,000 square foot Patriot Seeker expansion facility. Northrop Grumman has invested about $1 billion in the rocket motor output capacity increases. And defense firms are clearly moving ahead with capital investments to meet government demand. Critics, though, Joey, they argue the Pentagon targets may not actually be achievable without substantially more money, obviously, in funding from contracts. That usually, Joey, does need an act of Congress, as Congress, according to the U.S. Constitution, controls the purse. Controls the cash flow.
Yeah, well, I've been telling Sharif, man, I've been watching some pretty hectic war documentaries. Yeah. Again, I don't wish that upon anybody. But after some of these defensive names here, you got Lockheed Martin, approximately, 20% from July, so a couple months ago, middle of the summer. Not too bad of a look. And then you got Boeing, obviously, as well, too, with some of their planes. Take a look at Boeing, ba-boom, and see how it's been, right? But as for LMT and some of like the ramping up of more missiles and obviously tensions between China, I don't think America and China ever go I should say never say never. I don't think they go to bed. It'll just be too devastating from a global standpoint. And you know what? Donald even says that it's his friend, right? President Xi's his friend, right? whatever you want to take from that. Yeah, he likes them. They like each other, and hopefully they do, because when you have the two largest economies continuously going head to head, I'm not going to necessarily call it a Cold War, but at the end of the day, you want these two to become partners. I think if you work together, the world is better off. And as for all these belligerencies going around, it just needs to stop. Lockheed Martin, stock's not doing too horrible, but that's all I have to say in the defense space. No more war.
I mean, I don't want to see war either. It's just, I just don't think it's...
you get nowhere at the end of the day, man. You just lose sons and daughters, and it's just, I don't know.
All right, Adara, what do you make of this trade? I mean, it's an instruction from the Pentagon, but do they have the money, Adara, to seek out this expansion? Or are they going to need to go back to Congress and ask for more money?
Yeah, we'll have to find out what the budget is. I mean, people know I do this for fun. I watch a lot of, congressional testimony in my spare time. Last week I went, or over the weekend, I went back and reviewed just because I remember it being pretty wild than it was. Pete Hegseth, who of course is the Department of Defense or Department of War Secretary, depending on your verbiage, but either way, he had that 5-hour testimony over their budget delays with the DoD to, I believe that was Congress. And why I bring this up is because they were already really running into some budgetary constraints then, right? There were a lot of concerns. At that point, they had not yet submitted the budget. So if they have to go ask for more money, that could be a bit of a concern. Right? So they have to, I would like to hope that we're not going to have these proposals unless you have all of the money to back it up. Now, I do want to transition to one specific defense name, LMT, Lockheed Martin. This one has been, by different members of Trump's administration, either touted as a potential investment candidate or denied as a potential investment candidate. You had Scott Bessent a little bit cagey here about investing in any names like LMT or Boeing. Meanwhile, we had Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary, saying that they could be potentially investing in either of those names, specifically Lockheed Martin. So, I mean, it's always, we're always wondering what's going to be the next Trump admin investment play. It could potentially be Lockheed.
Well said, Adara. All right, let's just wind down the show over here. It is 1:59, but I want to look at the small cap gappers because, kind of an unusual state of affairs we find ourselves in. Typically, when we're talking about these small cap gappers as we wind down the show, they're usually breaking down below VWAP, losing trend. Look at ENTA go, man. It is taking out 14. It's aggressive. It's at the day high. It's a good-looking name. ANGX as well continues to hold VWAP. Tilray just printed a 171 high a day. Tilray's almost up 50%, guys. 47, 46 ACB. Nary a red candle since 1:10 p.m., excuse me. Still off the high, though. BKKT continuing to run 46% in Greensville. And HOVR, how can we forget about that? Well, we forgot about it because it's only up teens. 15 2/3, but it just printed the high of the day as well, 292. So a lot of strength in small cap gapper world, Joey. Leave them with a thought, baby.
Yeah, leave them with a thought, man. It's a Monday. Vibes are high, man. Everybody's got a smile on their face. It's a beautiful day out. And just continue it. Whether you're red or you're green, essentially doesn't matter because a bad day, as I said before, is only 24 hours. So yeah, just hope everyone had a fantastic one and enjoy the rest of your day.